Welcome to another episode of The Stream Room. It's the podcast about content creation by content creators for content creators. And this week, well, there's a bit of drama going around with the streamers, but this time it actually matters to you. I am one of your hosts, Reapz.
Hello, I'm LJ.
And I am Nicktacular. Hello, boys. How are we
hello,
doing this morning?
I'm drama. Oh, wow. LJ's loving the drama.
We need one of those cheesy, like, you know how those, like the midday news shows, they have the drama alert, like graphics that go off. We need one of those cheesy ones.
Yeah. Darude Sandstorm starts playing. That'll be ours. I think it'll be fantastic. Yes. No, boys, there is drama. Now, sadly, the war has finally come. It's time to pick sides. We must militarize, or else we will be destroyed and defeated. It's a hard thing to admit to you both, but it is true. The affiliates versus partners has begun. Please make sure you pick a side.
Civil
Who
war.
will you be choosing?
It's happened.
It's happened. Okay, so look, this is happening probably, I think, 2-3 weeks ago, technically, because I'm sorry, we had to record early because I am on my honeymoon, because I'm happy in my life.
Yes.
Correct, all of you who aren't. And so as of the last 12 hours, Twitter and a lot of also comments and weird places to see it has just been full of just partner versus affiliate drama.
Okay.
And the reason it matters is, as I said, you have to pick a side, chat. Listening to this, you have to pick a side. You're not allowed to sit on the sidelines. Your opinion matters.
You're not Switzerland in
because
this.
social media means you have to give an opinion on everything. All right?
Yep, agreed.
Grab your pog champs. Get out there.
Get your peepo riots and go to war.
Yes.
All right.
Exciting
No,
times.
so essentially, look, we all know that partner versus affiliate drama has always been kind of like a seed over the last few years.
Yes.
Right. There's been a decent amount of like, but no one really cares. But it's kind of exploded. And it's exploded for the same reason it exploded 4 years ago. And it exploded for the same reason that anytime there is a convention, it explodes. Same as VidCon, same as YouTube, same as any convention. They have a back room for established creators to go and relax. Now, pretty much every convention I've seen has the same rules for these back rooms. You can't film, you can't take photos, you can't share anything. It's literally a room that is a giant resting place with an NDA attached to it, right? There's no like networking really or anything like that. It's literally a place where someone who has an audience can just go and sit down and go, fuck me, I'm tired, right? They have them for YouTube conventions, as I said, so big YouTubers can do that. And there was a bunch of drama back in the day of like smaller YouTubers having to hate on big ones for getting VIP treatment. And Twitch have them for a while. And Twitch have brought the room in, and they've also made it so that partners can buy tickets a little bit earlier. Okay. And affiliates are angry. All right. They are angry at the division, at the fact that they're acting like partners are better and they shouldn't be treated better because all streamers matter, you know? I'd love to hear your 2 cents, team. What do you think? Are you better than affiliates because of your check mark? Do you hate small streamers?
Yeah,
Do
I hate
you? You do? Okay, Reapz hates small streamers.
I hate
Hang on, are they just mad at Twitch and then taking it out on the partners? Is that what?
Yes. Yes, it is. Because here's the thing, guys. You can only blame Twitch for not growing for so long before someone says to you, hey, why don't you just do something else or a different platform? So now they need to pick someone else to be upset at, and they've chosen people with a check mark who also, let's throw it out there, did you guys know that when you get partner, a lot of the time, your income halves or sometimes even gets goes down to a third of it. And a lot of the time, your viewers drop, as we know.
Yeah.
And also you have less chatters and less people engage. And it is literally because on Twitch, it's like 80% of people in your chat are smaller streamers. And as you grow, they will move on when you get partner or when you get to a certain size because they usually feel like you're not going to read out their messages or you've made it. It is true. I actually I did a poll on this ages ago. I got to find it probably.
Okay.
But I said like, do you feel like you'd rather support a small streamer or a large streamer? And everyone was like, I'll always support a small streamer before I support someone bigger than that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
the logic is sound.
Yeah, for my just to wrap my head around this. So was this for like TwitchCon or something, or was this?
Yes, this is for TwitchCon. TwitchCon announced there'd be like Well, one of the partners leaked, I think it was, that TwitchCon was going to have a little back room.
Okay.
Right? And then they also kind of talked about the fact that partners, I believe, get access to buying tickets a little bit early.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Which I don't think is a bad thing, to be entirely honest. I think it's actually kind of fucking important because TwitchCon is literally like, it's who are the people of TwitchCon that do technically matter most? Oh, it's the people with big audiences, aka probably people who have established themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's also it's weird. It's kind of like, I don't know. I just find it strange.
Yeah. But you got the partners on one side going, guys, will you just chill out? You get 80% of what we partners get anyway. And then the affiliate's like, no equality. That's
It is very weird because I mean, I just think about it on the other foot, right? Like imagine going to like a big old YouTube convention and like if you've made yourself a channel on YouTube and then you think to yourself, I should get as much kind of rights as Mr. Beast does going to this YouTube convention. It's like, I understand that, like equality is a great thing, but let's be honest here, you can't cater to 100% of people, which is what I think people are aiming for with this whole thing. And I can understand that people can see it as maybe elitist, but let's be honest here. I mean, if the lifeblood of this TwitchCon, of YouTube, of everything is the creators, and there are some creators who are making some big old waves for these platforms, then yeah, I mean, I think they deserve maybe a back room where they can chill out a bit if that's the main takeaway from that.
It's also the tickets early, I think, but it's just generally what I personally think it is this is what I was trying to talk about last episode, and I listened back to that episode. So we haven't seen the comments of last episode yet.
Yes.
But last episode, I got a bit heated about the fact that I think that the culture of streaming has gotten worse over the past year, right? Because I don't know, I think I probably am in the trenches a bit more, and I see the culture of the 100 to lower groups, right? And I didn't explain myself very well. But I think this is a perfect example. Like, I think this is a perfect example of like the culture has just been so twisted now. And I legitimately like, I made a joke last night on Twitter. I said, you guys know the duck meme? Where like there's this meme about the ducks where it's like, the elites don't want you to know this, but the ducks at the park are free. You can take those ducks home. I have 458 ducks. You know what I mean? Like, and it's fucking, who's the knuckle dragger? Joe Rogan.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's him, right? And so I tweeted out, the elites don't want you to know this, but you can mute anyone or any words on Twitter. It's free. I have 458 muted words, you know? And one of my regulars and a guy from the Stream Team Discord who's fantastic called Joa, he replied saying, hashtag small streamers, don't mind me just testing something. Because he was making a joke that I had muted that word because I think the culture has gotten worse.
Yeah.
And fucking, dude, if this is not a testament of how bad the culture's gotten, there are bots that automatically and instantly retweet hashtag small streamers.
Yep.
No one else engages. No one else engages with that hashtag from what I saw. It's just like multiple bots just going through and retweeting the hashtag no matter what it is.
That's crazy, man. Like, I remember I used to use the hashtag back in the day of small streamers, and I used to get the engagements up and people retweeting them. And obviously at the time I didn't realize they were bots. I was like, oh, wow, we're fighting the good fight, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But it really has become this kind of meme in itself, like the small streamers hashtag. Yeah.
It's very strange. And also, again, I feel like I don't need to give it context, but we should probably give it context. Obviously, not everyone who's a streamer or who's a small streamer is involved in this. If you're not on Twitter complaining, if you're actually just have your head down trying to make good content, if you're not trying to pick fights or blame Twitch or yell at people, then you're probably not who we're talking about. But if you're on Twitter with a pitchfork right now saying that partners suck ass, Twitch can go jump off a metaphorical cliff, then you probably need to take a chill pill, mate.
Yeah. Take a step back, look in the mirror. And a lot of these people, like that, if they were that size, you know, as a partner, would be on the complete front. They'd be like, "Oh, why are you guys complaining? You know, partners should deserve these perks."
Hey, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. If you switched it around, I wonder if the people who are defending either side would still be okay. Hear me out. Anyone who's gotten partner doesn't really mean anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not special or good or necessarily like that. I think a large majority of partner also just comes down to luck.
Yep.
Like, unless you've like aggressively like built a giant YouTube channel and funneled it all and you've been really smart about it. I think a huge amount of getting partner really does just come down to luck and circumstance, right? But like, I don't know, man. It blew me away a little bit to see this drama and to see that it's like devolving into this, you know?
It does feel like, as I said before, like Marvel Civil War, where it's two sides who are competing for the same thing, competing against each other because they got nothing better to do at the time.
Yeah,
because
pretty much.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's kind of like, okay, so partner itself is like you get some more emotes and you'll maybe get some opportunities offline. The contract's practically the same in terms of splits and all that kind of stuff. So I guess it's maybe a thing of like, do you feel that the small streamers, because, you know, they haven't gotten partner or they really want partner or something, it kind of like this is just another obstacle that Twitch is placing in front of us that we have to deal with because we can't be discovered, and these opportunities where we can go and meet people in real life and network and stuff, we may not get the chance to do that because we're not going to get tickets or things like that. I'm just wondering what the main crux is. Is it just they want complete equality in terms of buying tickets and going to a back room, or is it more something else?
Maybe this is a hot take.
Okay.
But if your growth hedges on needing to go to an event and like network and like meet a big partner and hopefully get them to like help you and do a collab, well, then you probably don't deserve to grow yet. Like let's be real. Like none of us went to TwitchCon, and that's not why we blew up, right? Like I'm not like, I don't know if you guys have, but like I'm just saying, like none of us went there and then we're like, now that we're here, we're growing, let's go, you know? Like,
I mean, I went in 2018, but
never mind, I take it back. I support small streamers. Nick did do it, and that's why he's here right now.
I did it. I cuddled up to Sequisha and Dr. Lupo, you know, and I was just like, hey boys, what's going on? But no, like I went to TwitchCon purely to hang out with like all the people I knew, because pretty much like 80 to 90% of the people I was interacting with and the other streamers I knew at the time were like all US based or like international based. So it made sense. Like there was like 60 people I knew that were going, and we all got to meet up and hang out, and it was a freaking awesome time. There was not really any, you know, actual growth opportunities came from it. I think if you it's fine to go to a convention and have some, you know, have to allocate a little bit of time to sort of meeting people or maybe talking to reps from things and things like that. But like you got it, the cons are there for enjoyment. Like that's pretty much it. And then if you work hard on your content and you work hard to establish yourself, then you'll easily be able to reach out to a creator, as we talked about how the wrong and right way to reach out for a collab, and you'll be able to reach out and actually collab with someone just by messaging them and asking.
Yeah.
I just think it's a silly debate, to be honest. And this morning, so I told you guys the other week that I've made a rule that I'm not engaging with any streaming related content on my Twitter. So the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna retweet Stream Scheme videos, right? But I'm not gonna post about it. I'm not gonna reply to people asking me questions about it from my personal account. I'm not gonna like, comment, or do any of those things unless it's like important. Like I retweeted an OBS warning today because there's a scam going around that the ads on Google for OBS, they're actually like malicious malware that Google has somehow let through. The joys of openware software.
Right.
Oh, lovely.
So like I'm not going to do any of that. But this morning I was so close to tweeting out saying, if you have enough time to argue on Twitter about affiliates versus partners, then you should be working on your content more.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, like, and I'm talking about partners as well, right? If you are a partner out there and you're on Twitter arguing about it, like I understand maybe just throwing out a cheeky like laugh joke about it, but like if you're actually out there like debating or trying to like defend or do any of that shit, it's like, dude, you are not focused on the right part of what the fuck you're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
Yeah, it was crazy. I saw a partnered streamer tweet out being like, hey, what's going on with this, you know, partner versus affiliate thing on Twitter? And then I think it was like 6 hours or the next day or 12 hours later or something, a smaller, from what I saw, a smaller creator tweeted out a similar question and then got accused of stealing content.
Ask you
No,
a
no, no. I'm
question.
legit. I'm serious. They got accused of stealing content, and then the partnered streamer quote tweeted a video of them, basically made a song saying about them stealing their content, and I'm just like, what? I'm very confused.
We've stated this before, but you really do have to pick and choose what platforms you're going to put your efforts into. And I feel that with Twitter, a lot of the efforts you put you into on Twitter are either having to do that kind of debate thing where it's just like a back and forth. Like I've never gone to a Twitter thread or, a hashtag that's going, viral at the moment and seeing people agreeing. I've never been like clicked on something and they're like, wow, I agree with that sentiment. Good take, dude. It's always like a goddamn war. And that's why every time I go on Twitter, I'm just like, I do my go lives. I may post something about a cat and then I'm out of there. And then I'm focusing on other things because I know that I can easily get sucked down the let's argue, let's debate this. And then you just get riled up and angry. And I try and steer clear of that. So yeah.
I don't get how people have the energy for it.
Yeah,
honestly.
I can't do it.
LJ,
Yeah.
you look absolutely shocked, by the way.
I look, guys,
You can't see LJ's.
I've said this many times.
Yeah.
I've said this many, many, many times. And that is the fact that like, there are a lot of people out there who tell me, yeah, I'm going to start doing education content because it really interests me. Okay, no, let me roll this back. Okay. I asked like 5,000 people on a poll, hey, do you have a favorite YouTuber? Tell me who your favorite YouTuber is, right? This was a while ago. And I remember this being like a moment for me where I was like, fuck me. But like, I said, what is your favorite YouTuber? And like out of like a good fucking like 4,000 or 5,000 replies, most of the comments were like saying things like, you, or, oh, sorry, LJ, I like Harris Heller the best. Or like, oh, Nutty's my favorite. Or this guy or this guy. And I was reading through it. It's like, oh, I like vidIQ. I like all this stuff. And I had this realization that like, so many people in my audience just spend all of their time watching and absorbing growth for content creation, streaming growth, YouTube growth, whatever it is, right? Or OBS tricks and tips. And I'm just like sat there. I was just like thinking to myself, just like, okay, there are a few people saying a few different channels, but like, who inspired you guys to even want to start being content creators? Like I didn't ask this. I was just sat back being like, if someone asked me who my favorite YouTube channel is, I'm not going to say one of the guys that I go to watch education content on. Like I don't think I should be anyone's favorite YouTube channel because like I'm education. Like you surely you should like someone else. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's like also like I'll be like people would rather spend their time like just absorbing all this stuff, and it's like I get it, but also like when you go live, you don't want to be someone like me where the majority of your brain is now devoted to this stuff because it's your job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think you don't.
It's how you phrase the question. If someone asks like, "Oh, hey, what's your favorite channel to learn stuff about content creation?" and like that specifically, you can say, "Oh yeah, Stream Scheme, absolutely." Mm-hmm. But from like a favorite YouTuber, it's like I get what you mean. So it's like you want to hear someone should be saying something that actually like brings them joy and entertainment.
I did a thing, Mm-hmm. I love Smarter Every Day. I was like sat there just like being like, man, I guess it's just like what I'm trying to say is that what I said last podcast about how I don't know if I like where the streaming culture is going is it's still, these are good examples that I didn't explain well last time of it. And that is that streaming has kind of evolved into this thing where there's so much vitriol, so much drama, and a little bit of too much obsession as well. And like, I think that obsession is like, it is a dream job. Like it is a dream job for a lot of these people. But when you can't have your dream job, it means you become a lot more probably vitriolic about the people who do get it.
Yeah.
And like, it's not just them going after partners as well. Like I've seen, I won't name names, but I've seen people have a go at, I want to say the name, but I won't. The person listening to this will understand. There are people who I've seen start streaming. They weren't streamers, but they decided to start streaming, right? And they're very good friends with people like myself or other established streamers, right? So we rated them. We supported them because we know who they are. We also saw them working hard. And they instantly were able to get to like, they're getting like 30, 40 average viewers, right? Mm-hmm. And like we network, we help these people, we support them and stuff like that because they're working hard. And then I've seen people like call them out or kind of like backhanded compliment. What's it called? Negging. That's what they call it. Like being like people like saying to them like, oh wow, you just started and you've got 40 average because of the people you know. It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, oh, I wish I was as lucky as you to have 40 average and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, why is it that on Twitch, streamers try and see each other's competition? We're not competing. We're not competition in any shape, way, or form, like at all. It's like on YouTube. If I upload a video, it's like similar. Like, okay, so I told you guys like weeks ago that I had this video where I was going to talk into a $15 microphone and then a $500 microphone, but I haven't had a chance to do it properly. I want to do a really in-depth version of it. Harris Heller released a video last week doing that, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I just can't make this video now.
Yeah.
I think my replies are just going to be like, so I've got a whole script there. I've got a whole plan there. I've spent hours working on this video that I was going to do a really in-depth one where I had like 5 different microphones and they were all going to be like, I was going to be like, I'm testing 10 mics, but the reality is I'm testing 5 and the with or without filters. I'm going to make everyone try and guess. And it's a whole thing, right? But I'm like, I just can't make this video anymore because there's something strange where people see each other as competition or they see 2 creators and they go, they're competing.
Yeah.
It's like, no. My content succeeding or failing has nothing to do with Harris, Gale, Nutty, any of these people. And my stream failing or succeeding has nothing to do with Nick or Reapz. You know what I mean? It's like I can see Nick get a really good stream and I can be like, fuck yeah, Nick. I can see Reapz Reapz is doing really well. Reapz, you are bigger than I am now. I'm not envious. I'm excited.
I wouldn't say that. I think the thing is, when it comes to YouTube, right, when you put out a video, it's in its own space. You can access it anytime. You know what I mean? It's not like this is going live at 7 p.m. and you can only see it at 7 p.m. against this. While with streaming, I can understand why people see it as competition because they've got X amount of other people live at the same time, right? And I think that there has to be a clear definition of that. They're not competition just because they're going live at the same time as you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's a back and forth of ratings or stuff like that. It really doesn't have to be like that. But I do find you raised a really good point beforehand where I think a lot of small streamers, and this isn't everyone, I probably did this as well.
We have to keep contextualizing.
I have to keep
this.
contextualizing. The thing is, like, when you say small, it's like they're talking right about me. I'm just saying there are a certain aspect of small streamers who like to gatekeep. And that to me is the biggest thing that I think you can do wrong in terms of your own content creation journey or growth. You know what I mean? If you gatekeep what other people are doing and what you're doing, then that's when it all falls on its head because you should not be the be all end all of what people are allowed or not allowed to do. And then you see that in their content as well. It changes completely. And that I think is a really big trap that people fall into.
Yeah, the same small streamers gatekeeping are the same ones having a go at Twitch and partner streamers for being elitist.
Yeah,
it's the exact same group.
Yeah,
they're all, and they don't even realize that they're also doing a similar thing by just gatekeeping themselves and being like, yeah, small streamers are better because they are. Like,
I love that motto.
Small streamers are better because they are.
That's what I imagine they're like. They're just like,
okay. I got a poll I can share with you guys.
I love a good poll.
Before I show you LJ's big poll segment, which we haven't done in a while.
Show me a poll.
Like two and a half episodes ago, actually. We did like a whole episode where all I did was show you guys LJ's big poll segment.
Love seeing big polls.
LJ's big poll.
But here's my thing for you guys. And I'm going to pitch this to you live, right? Lately, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, okay? Podcasts are a format that I used to love listening to. Like I used to listen to the Triforce and a bunch of other ones as well. Lots of furry related podcasts just because I think it's funny. I'm just a joke, but no one laughs. Anyway,
I don't want to.
Anyway, so essentially, like I'm sat there and I'm listening to all these new podcasts. I'm listening to The Yard, but sadly, The Yard, they talk a lot about the streaming culture of big streamers, and I'm like tired of it. So I started listening to Trash Taste, and I started listening to all these other ones, and a lot of the stuff I click on, right? And Trash Taste is a good example. Let's focus on that one. Trash Taste is by Giguk, that anime guy, and Connor Seadog. Seadog VA, which is a hilarious guy. Does stuff with Iron Mouse all the time. And I clicked on it thinking, oh, it's Trash Taste. It's by the 3 guys that do anime and stuff. So it's going to be about anime. They don't talk about it at all. They talk about whatever they want. And I was like, boys, I have a pitch for you. Sure, we can talk about streaming if we're interested in talking about streaming. But can we just, because one of these days, can we just do an episode where we literally just talk about whatever the fuck we want?
Yeah. We honestly should. Yeah.
Because like in my head and in my heart and in my balls, I'll be honest, I don't know how much more I can tell people about how to grow.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's much else to talk about.
You hit a wall at some point. I was disappointed as well, LJ, because after that clip you shared about the trash taste, I was like, oh yeah, an anime podcast. I've been looking for one of these. And then I just got disappointed when they was talking about random.
I'll be honest, I wasn't disappointed because the latest episode of theirs is talking about keyboards and they go on a massive argument about like whether or not you should get 100% or a 75% or a 50%, which is like, so a 100% keyboard is like you've got your numpad on it.
Yep.
A 75 is like you don't. And they were on this massive argument and debate about what is better. And like Gigak's like, I have it because I use a lot of numbers. And like, what numbers? And he goes, I buy a lot of stuff online. And they're like, so what? Like Excel? And he's like, no, it's for putting my credit card in. And he goes, how often do you put it in? How much are you buying that you need a numpad? And then the other guy's like, I have to buy a 75% because what if I want to go like on the road? And they start roasting him like, why are you taking a keyboard on the road?
That's what
he goes,
I
my
love.
laptop, for my laptop. And he's like, they're like, what? Just use the laptop keyboard. And he goes, no, it's not ergonomic.
That's what we want. But honestly, I've been thinking about this as well. It's because we've always planned this as being like, this is a launching pad for us to kind of be our own personalized and talk about things outside of streaming. Obviously, still talking about streaming. So I feel in the future that the kind of format that we're going to have with this podcast is two things that will still relate to streaming. One, the news of the week. Whatever news is out there, like the Twitter war, we'll talk about that at the head of the show. And then at the very last bit of the show, we'll probably do Q&As from people who leave comments, which I think is a great thing. But in between then, I think it's going to be us just going on tangents, talking about whatever pop culture, I know random crap that's happened to us. That's where I see this podcast going. And I hope people are on board for that, as it kind of fills in both those.
Like the content advice will still weave its way in and
of
out
course.
over time. So like, don't fret, don't leave yet, guys. Don't leave yet.
I mean, honestly,
still,
if you can, if you want, I've become a lot more open to people just absorb whatever you want. Yeah. Right. Like if you want to absorb small streamers, absorb small streamers. You want to absorb big streamers, absorb big streamers. At the end of the day, like you do you, boo. All right. Don't let anyone talk you into anything you don't want to do. But here's my thing, right? And here's my takeaway is at a certain point, I legitimately don't think there's anything else for me to talk about in this space. Like other than news that comes out that is hot. Like I went through and I looked at like a lot of my videos over the last like 2 years. And I was kind of like, is there anything that I want to talk about that's new? Is there anything that I think could add value to people? And I was like, I'll do a video on confidence. I'll do a video about motivation. Those are two videos that I want to do properly. I've talked about them briefly, but I've never really dived into them. I was like, I kind of want to revisit like a mega video about growing. But like otherwise, there's nothing that really excites me in the space anymore. Because like I've done all the videos that excited me. I've done the videos that I think you actually need as a small streamer. I think if you watch my entire channel and you kind of sat there like, well, I guess I just don't know what else to do. I'm like, well, I don't know what else I can give you. You know what I mean? Like I've done videos all about keyword research. I've done videos about running a YouTube channel, about planning a YouTube channel, about how to use different CTAs. I've done videos about thumbnails multiple times. Like I've done videos about every single aspect of Twitch that I can think of that a small streamer will be helpful for. Like at a certain point, I don't want to have to repeat myself. And like a few people have already started saying, LJ, you repeat yourself. And I'm like, well, no, I made a video 8 months ago where I say do the Seinfeld strategy. And then I'm making one next week about the Seinfeld strategy. In those last 8 months, we've gained 60 to 70,000 new subs. So yeah, I'm going to mention the Seinfeld strategy again, especially because it's a video purely about being motivated. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, but like, I guess it's just like, I never want to be someone who just keeps rehashing the same piece of content over and over and over and over again to grow. Like, dude, if I think that's why a lot of people fall into doing tech reviews. Like, maybe I'm wrong about this, but like, there's always a new microphone. And even if the tech review is the exact same fucking thing, here's the mic. Yeah, it has this frequency. It has this. It does this. It's this or this. It's that or that. It's this or that. Buy it if you think it sounds good to you right now listening to it. That is like the whole thing. And I love Podcastage because he's one of the few people who does it really well.
He's fantastic.
I feel like so many other people are just like a part of me regrets not going to tech reviews because it just feels so much easier. Like people are like, oh, LJ, you do opinion pieces, which means it's super easy for you because you don't have to like do all the technical stuff and show off the tutorials and do all that stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding? The technical tutorials that I've done are the easiest fucking things I've ever done because all you have to do is do the intro and have a few moments where you look at camera, and then the rest you just read the script, and then you just put overlay of charts and shit like that over the top of it, or like
B-roll of you actually interacting with it.
Or if it's like an actual like software tutorial, you literally just record you setting up the software, and you don't even have to like memorize the script or anything like that. Like I'm not saying tech tutorials are easier than what I do and I'm doing the hard shit. I'm just saying like at a certain point, I'm just kind of like, well, what else do people want from me?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I was thinking about with this podcast, right? And what I was trying to say here was like, at a certain point, boys, I was listening back to like, I've been doing walks every single day.
Yeah.
And I've been listening back to every episode that we've released so far. We've covered pretty much everything.
We've nailed a lot. LJ, I did see that YouTube post that you made because the other day I was like on YouTube on my phone, and that the post did pop up, and I had to read through it, and it's like, and I was sitting there going, man, I get it, dude. I understand like why you're feeling that way, because like you hit that point, and there's only so much you can do until things change. I mean, you look at like Harris, like they every now and then he would switch up and do more sort of tech orientated stuff and more like tutorial kind of stuff, because like he'd get Sam in to come and do that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the hardest part, is just keeping keeping new stuff going and trying to think of new stuff.
Well, it's not think of new. I got plenty of new stuff. It's just like stuff that I think actually holds value to people. You know what I mean? Like I can make a whole video about how I think gimmicks are ruining channels. Like I've got a script there that I could do on it, but at the same time, it's like, does it interest me? You know what I mean? Like I can make another 100 videos that I've never talked about before that I could easily clickbait. I could say this one tip is ruining your stream, and they could just be about gimmicks, right? Like I could do that. But this is how I know and how I've learned that while I like money, I'm not motivated by money.
Yes.
Because my sponsors don't have a cap on how many videos I can do monthly. I can have as many videos sponsored month by these guys if I wanted, right? I'm sure they'd be upset if I did 20. But at a certain point, right? And it's like the more my income is only capped at the amount that I'm releasing. But like, I'm not motivated by money, because if I was, I'd be doing that. When the reality is, I'm motivated by actually talking about something that interests me or something I think is actually going to help someone. And like, that's what I mean. Like listening to this podcast back and listening to other things is like, I guess to me, I'm just kind of like, I'm not excited to make the easy clickable videos anymore.
I mean, you worked hard to get yourself like stable. Like you got yourself a good stable income, and now you're at the point it's like, well, now your motivations are purely what value can you bring? How can you be creative? That like,
I don't think money has ever been the reason why I worked so hard on the YouTube channel. Like legitimately, like it's I at all. Like I legitimately think that all the videos that I was doing were fresh. Right? I was excited to talk about things, right? Like I was excited to do 7 easy ways to improve your stream. I was excited to talk about like how to set up instant replays. Like if I look back through my videos, when I see the ones that are out there, I'm like, yeah, I was keen to make that. You know what I mean? The how to customize your channel, how to stop bots, grow smart, streaming to nobody, all this stuff I was excited to make. But I'm kind of like, and I'm still excited to make the ones that I'm currently making. But I'm also like looking at stuff like, what am I excited for next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think we all hit that point though, LJ. Like, like when it comes to streaming, when it comes to making videos, it's all new and exciting, and then you do it. And then it's that thing of like, well, I know that I have to, continue on doing it. Otherwise I lose momentum or I lose, income, whatever it is. And then it's that kind of caveat you have to give to yourself of like, okay, how can I make this interesting to me again? How can I get that zest that I had at the beginning? And it's hard after you've done it for, the years and years that we've all done it together. Like with streaming, there's days I'm like, I don't have that zest anymore. Like, how do I bring it back? And there's some streams where I'm like, yes. And there's other streams where I'm like, oh, that was fucking terrible. Like, it's a hard balancing act. Yeah.
I guess just, I think for me, I think it's also like, I guess I just don't feel fulfilled as much anymore. You know what I mean? Because like I've done videos where I spend like hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of work editing to make it super interesting and engaging. Right? On a topic that I care about. Like it was like, I made a video called 3 simple tips you need to grow on YouTube. And then I made another video called how to come up with video ideas and stuff like that. I spent so long on the editing for those. The entire thing has like sound effects and sound design. I've got like different new transitions that I've made. I've got like all these subtitles, crazy stuff going on. I've tracked like words onto stock footage to make some of it funny and stuff like that. And then I spent I spent fucking ages as well making like thumbnails that I thought would be more interesting or more dynamic for the topics. And they just both just aggressively underperform, right? And it's like, yeah, okay. So what I'll just release a video about like why Twitch streaming will never be a full-time career, which is something that interests me, right? And I spent 2 seconds on the thumbnail, which is just, I took a graphic that I'd made for the podcast a while ago of the tombstone, and I chucked it up there, and then I just put my face doing this. And it got like 23,000 views on it. And it's like did way better than the stuff that I actually put time and care and energy into. And it's like, to me, I just go, yeah, what am I excited for next? What am I actually keen to talk about and to do? Because if I wanted to, I could probably make another 20 list content, because that's what does really well. List content. Ooh, 3 free tools you need to grow on Twitch. 32 easy tips to grow from 0 viewers. 7 easy tips to get more chatters. Like all those got hundreds of thousands. Well, by the way, my very first video to ever reach 1 million happened yesterday.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah. Well done. Awesome. Congrats.
Well done.
Yeah.
You're a millionaire now.
Tips. I am. You actually get $5 per view. So,
whoa. Can I borrow some money? I need it.
244 days.
Ooh, to
That's
reach
how
a
long
mil.
it took to reach 1 million on it. Yeah.
You know what?
That's
With all
crazy.
those millions and millions of dollars that you have now, you should definitely make a video where you go and donate to small streamers. Absolutely.
Yes, I will do. Yeah.
Mr. Beast,
100%.
yeah.
Maybe that's what I should do, right? So that 32 tips one I told you guys before is just me recreating an older video, but with a better format.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just go through and remake older videos that blew the fuck up and just like make them in a better format.
Yeah. I got a suggestion. How about you go, you know, you've got the people who comment on your videos underneath, right? And they go, thank you for the tips. Thank you for this. I'm going to institute it now. I say you make a video where you go to their channel.
Good idea.
What's that?
I know where you're going. This is such a good idea.
You go to their channel and you see if they've implemented it. And if they do, you give them $100 or whatever the frick you want. You know what I mean? And then you're like, yes, it's me, LJ. I did it. You know, see if they instituted all the things that you did. And that way it's
I'm going to specifically search the words, I've done all this and it doesn't work, or it doesn't work. And then I'm going to go to their
channel and go, did it work? And then call them out. That's what we like to do here.
And the thing is, if he donates to them and then makes a video on it, he's going to be motivating all of these people with money.
Exactly.
Wow, you know what? I was going to think about implementing these tips he talked about, but now he might give me $100. So I'm going to do it even more now.
I feel like a kid egging on another kid. Do it.
You know, the thing is, I already do this, right?
Yeah.
Like I already, when someone says it doesn't work, I already go and look. Also, if you're ever going to comment it doesn't work on any of my videos or anything like that, I do look, right?
Boom.
But the thing is, 99.9999% of people who comment that, they've not got a schedule. They've got nothing. Like the bare minimum is not even being done. You know what I mean? And so I've like that it's gonna be a short video series.
Just get the one video out. You can do just one. See what happens.
The first,
so good.
The first 2 minutes of the video is LJ going through the comments. So-and-so says, I tried this and it didn't work.
Let's see if they did.
Go on the next one. Let's go on the next one. Next one. Oh, yeah, we have finally have someone.
Good. So good.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
That would be great.
To answer your question, one of the things I am excited about is I think I might just do more collabs. I think I might just legitimately use Stream Scheme as a chance to just do fuckloads of collabs.
Yeah.
Just bring on other streamers to do stuff, and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And then have them answer and just throw a video out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to, what's the word I'm looking for? Incorporate yourself into it all. I was going to say, so going back to obviously the topic of us, like we love giving advice, but we do see it as kind of like a thing of if we keep doing the same advice each and every week, it's just going to be us repeating ourselves, and nobody wants that. And so that's why we are thinking of how do we expand, how do we make it, varying to what it's been in the past. And to me, I think we have a really good set foundation now where it's like we will answer Q&As of the pressing issues because sometimes things change. We'll definitely answer those. And at the beginning, we'll give you the news of the week or things that have, come up in our streaming/content creation lives and we want to talk about. But I think you are going to see a divergence from just pure advice or opinion taking on the streaming meta to here's us talking about, what's better, Xbox or PC or, the PlayStation exclusives, things like that. Like, I do see us diverging into that territory.
But please don't stop asking questions, because you honestly, it's happened many times before where one of you asks a question and it'll actually end up something that we maybe haven't talked about much or at all, and it will turn into an entire episode depending on what it is. So
correct.
Please, don't stop asking questions,
doing
guys.
it. Yeah, it's just going to be a different way of incorporating it. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I just thought it was funny. Like, the thread to get here, by the way, is also very hilarious, because the thread to get here is like, oh, look at this streamer drama on Twitter. Oh, look at this streamer. Look at how people talk and treat. Oh, we can't really give any more advice. Oh, can we just talk about anime?
We're done.
Oh my god!
This is the problem that this is okay. So this is a weird one, but this is the problem I have with stream coaching.
Okay,
you know what I mean? It's like, how can you keep charging someone for coaching when you can just look at them and go, do a schedule, do this, do that, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now do this. Okay, you're not growing. I guess I just, like, it doesn't make sense to me, because, like, I understand the idea of, like, oh, if you have a deadline and you're like, ooh, motivated because someone else has stood over you going, you gave me $100, so therefore you got to do the thing or else you waste your $100. I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's like, that just means when that person leaves, you're not going to be motivated anymore to do the thing, right?
Yeah,
because you've got nothing holding you. You need to learn that discipline yourself. But I guess it's like, I've muted all stream coaches on Twitter now.
Right.
Because people who I follow like their content, right? And, like, if they like their content, they appear on my Twitter feed, right? And I'm tired of seeing something where it's like, they'll tweet out like, you got to make sure you support small streamers and XYZ and blah, blah, blah. And they do the complete opposite tweet next day. And they're just farming, like, every single interaction. I think I said this last week, maybe. I don't know. But, like, they're just farming, like, every single interaction they can.
Oh,
right?
I think you mentioned that. They'll say something, then say the opposite, like the next day or
like
something.
they'll be like, the best game you can stream is the game you love. And then, like, 2 days later, it'll be like, if you're streaming the game you love, but you're not growing, then you're wasting your time. And it's like, dude, pick a side, okay? Either sell the snake oil or don't sell the snake oil,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
You don't
can't
get
do
to
both.
play both sides. You know what I mean? Like,
God,
Sorry, I've got a question
so you go, Reapz,
in
go.
terms of branding, right? Because
Yeah.
I saw the other day, I was going through my YouTube recommended feed, and I see that it's no longer Alpha Gaming, it's Senpai Gaming.
yeah, he
gaming.
changed it.
Yeah. So how do you feel? Like, I'm obviously that's like where it stemmed from, but I think it's such a scary thing for people to rebrand, right? Like, if you like, especially for, like, Harris, where it's like Alpha Gaming, right? I've brought this brand up for like 2 years or whatever, and people know me as that, or they know that that's my offshoot. And then you completely change the name to Senpai Gaming. Like, do you feel that can be seen as like, should I be doing this, or am I doing this because I've just felt a new burst of life? Because I know that his new headquarters is like Senpai Gaming headquarters and stuff like that.
So he announced this.
Yeah.
He announced this like fucking so long ago.
Ages
right?
ago.
He announced this so long ago, and he did it in such a clickbaity way. That's not a bad thing, by the way. You guys know I don't hate clickbait. He announced, I'm ending my 500,000 subscriber YouTube channel. And he tweeted out that tomorrow he's announcing he's ending it. And then the 5-minute video is literally all it is just him being like, Alpha Gaming isn't what I want to be, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to end all this, going to do it all. That's why we're changing it to Senpai Gaming.
Yeah, legit. And then for like 8 months, he just had like the.
It's been a year. It's been over a year now.
Over a year, yeah. Over a year, his little like intro transition, instead of saying Alpha Gaming, it was the new logo with Senpai Gaming. Right. But yeah, I mean, look, good on him for wanting to do a lot of different stuff. Like, he wants to go further with the music production side of things. They're setting up an animation studio there, and he eventually wants to possibly develop a game.
He told me that before anyone else.
Hey,
the inside scoop. That's right, because you're Harris's best friend. We forgot that.
We were hanging out, shooting the shit. We were talking about our wives.
Cigars in mouth,
and
whiskey.
We were talking about life
Yeah.
and busyness. And I said my goal this year is to relax a bit more, which I think I've successfully done, even if it is the detriment of my channel, but I feel better. And it's one of those things. And he goes, yeah, Kenzie and I were talking and I told her I was going to start an animation studio. And she said, didn't you say you were going to relax more this year? And I just laughed at him and we hugged and I gave him a kiss on the lips and that was the day.
That was beautiful. Absolutely
Classic.
beautiful.
It may have been literally the one time we spoke on an interview live on stream and we've never spoken again. But I think we really shared a moment.
Yeah. I saw that chemistry right away. And he's probably thinking about you right now, to be honest.
I mean, when isn't he, right?
Yeah.
When isn't he thinking about me
exactly
at the end
right.
of the day? But he announced that a while ago and I don't think it's a big deal for him because this isn't, I don't know if people might take this as me taking a dig. I'm definitely not taking a dig, but I kind of think that Harris has sort of checked out of the Alpha Senpai, not brand, but like, I don't think that's what he wants to be focusing his energy on.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's kind of like similar to me where it's like, what else the fuck can we talk about at this point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like this may be hard to hear, but if you've watched like all of the content that Harris and I have put out and you're still not growing, you are not absorbing that properly, right? Like, like maybe all our advice isn't the best. It doesn't work for everyone, but like you should be able to at least look at yourself and understand why you're not getting to 5 or 10 or 15 average viewers,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, not absorbing or not properly implementing.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I think Harris is similar to me. And I said this when everyone was like, Harris is moving to YouTube and blah, 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 blah. It's because YouTube's better and all this thing. I'm like, look, it might be because he thinks YouTube is better. But I legitimately think Harris moved to YouTube for the same reason why in the future I might. And that is stream advice is something that is very tiring to talk about on repeat because there isn't much you can actually talk about. And I think Harris didn't want to be known as the guy that is on Twitch doing stream advice, but he built up tens of thousands of followers on Twitch as the guy who sits in just chatting doing stream advice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that's good because it gets him bigger views and it gets him larger average viewers and more subs and money to fund things. But like, I don't think he wanted to do that, which is why he moved over to the Harris Heller channel on YouTube. And you can see that he says in the Burn the Boats and stuff like that, that's not what he wants to be doing. And like, he wants to be doing other stuff. And I think that says a lot about it. And I think that's really a big push there. But at the same time, I think that he wants to he actually said this to me. I said to him, like, why are you changing brands? And he said on the interview, he goes, Alpha was never supposed to be just me. He goes, I also cringe when people call me Alpha because he goes, I'm the least Alpha person, which I think is a fucking lie. Harris is a Sigma. Look at that hairline, dude. He's crushing in the game. But like, essentially, yeah, like he's like, it's never meant to be like a me thing. It's meant to be like a bigger brand. And he's like, I want to bring more people on. Yeah. I want to do X, Y, Z and blah, 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 blah. And I think that's cool. I think that's really awesome. But I don't think it's scary for him to rebrand like that because I guess just people know. Like people at this point know. His core audience knows. And I think he'd rather take the dip rather than be known as the alpha gaming guy.
Yeah.
I was really surprised when he said he's keeping gaming. That was my big shock to me. I was like, wow, you're keeping gaming in there, but you barely talk about gaming like at all. And that's like fine. Like no hate there. But like I was really surprised because if it was me and I was changing from alpha gaming, I would really change. Right? Like I understand doing a small increment is probably safer for him, but I would have ditched gaming entirely. I would have ditched media. I wouldn't have put anything on the end. Just come up with one solid word that just makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like encapsulates your brand. I think the reason why we like the stream room is because we knew the stream room was ever adaptive. Like it was evolving. Yeah. Like we're never gonna have to sit here and be like, we barely talk about streaming anymore, so we shouldn't call it stream room. But it's like, no, we're all streamers. We're in our stream room.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
And
we can
play
adapt
games in said stream room and watch shit in said stream room. And you stream Netflix from said stream room.
Exactly. That's like technically everyone's a streamer because everyone streams Netflix.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
You're right though, because I think that's why he did it, is that he wanted to still have a little bit of a jump from the Alpha Gaming name, so people could kind of, not completely get alienated away from the channel. But yeah, it could have gone to something like Senpai Studios or something along those lines.
Yeah,
but
like
I think
anything. Yeah,
but I think a big part of the rebrand was exactly what you said, where he wanted to sort of, he probably hit that point of like, I can't give any more stream advice. We've hit the tip of everything, of everything we can. So unless things majorly change or a new content platform rises up doing something completely different, or Twitch just does a completely 180 on so many things and changes stuff, there won't be anything new to talk about. Well, so that's why he's putting more effort into the music production, putting effort into this animation side of things, like these more other different endeavors to put his
Well, he only
time
does
and
tech
effort.
now. That's literally it. Like he does literally just new tech that's come out, and then he'll do videos that are literally just what's it called? And then he'll do videos that are just like, here's what Twitch did wrong and here's what YouTube's done right. Like those are the two. Like that's really all it is. And he's also been interviewing a lot more big creators now, which I think is cool. I think it's funny. Like about a year and a half ago, he really started like actually collaborating with large content creators. You know what I mean? Like he started talking to like big people, which I think is good because I think a lot of those big people probably learned how to set their camera up from him, right? Like, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really important separation for him to make, and that's my theory was personally the biggest reason he moved from Twitch to YouTube is to give himself a chance to be something different. And I think you can see that if you look at his live streaming channel, the content he was trying to make on it was more vlog personality based content, right? Like it was very much like, this is him, this is my content, right?
Yeah.
But sadly, he's been so busy that he never really got a chance. Like he told me as well, he goes, I failed. He goes, I completely failed. Like he goes, I started this secondary channel and I know that I'm failing. I made a big announcement about no risk, no reward. And then I didn't put any content out. And it is kind of fair because the channel's been up there for like over a year now. And it's like 4 real videos and then all shorts.
Gotcha.
And there hasn't been a short in 5 months either.
And how often, does he still stream often, or is it?
He still streams. Yeah, he still does. Yeah. He still does weekly streams when he can. Obviously, he's a father now. But like, yeah, he streamed 5 days ago. Right. But the thing about YouTube is I can't see how well his streams did.
Yeah.
That's like one of the hard parts of it is, and I don't really care, but I'd just be curious to see like how well he's doing. I'm not going to judge him. I'm trying to make sure I word this carefully. I'm not going to judge him by his average viewers. I just think it's really interesting and really important that I understand how he's doing on this new channel, because I think it influences a lot of my and a lot of creators' thoughts about YouTube. Because like he has a very large YouTube channel, and rather than funnel all of his audience there, and this is another reason, right? Like if he really wanted big average viewers, he'd just be streaming on the Senpai Gaming channel.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's streaming on the Harris Heller one because I don't think he wants Senpai to be just him, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do that all anymore. So I don't know. I guess I would love to get an idea of how he's doing, but you can only really do that if you go to his streams. But sadly, the only stream I've been able to catch was when he was like telling everyone, if we reach 1,000 viewers, I'm going to raid. I'm going to try out the new raid feature.
Gotcha.
So it's like, okay, well, that's not, it doesn't give me an accurate depiction, man, because it's a big new feature and stuff. And
I get it. It's just I don't think you have to justify yourself. Like it's I think it's just curiosity. You just want to see how well his channel's doing. Like that's just purely to see how he's tracking. That's it. But he also mentioned in his like tour video that he released, he's going to be possibly starting a podcast because like pointing out different areas of the room. He's like, hey, we got this area. Probably it's kind of area we probably can do a podcast in the future. And I was like, okay. He's going to do another podcast as well, I see.
It's gonna be called The Better Stream Room.
The streamiest of rooms. But I was going to say, do you think like for the people who are listening, who maybe have just started or have continued streaming or whatever content creation they do on whatever platform, do you think it's time that they look and they really consider what their brand is? Because I know that sometimes when I look at a stream name, and it's like, say, let's just imagine the name David, right? And then they do 5 A's and 6 I's, for you to get to that page. Do you think you should look at that and go, maybe I need a rebrand? Because for me to get people to type in David with the right amount is a hard thing.
This happened on stream the other day.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I was doing a Q&A where people could ask me any question, okay? And then my mods would pick the questions and they appeared in this beautiful little animated box. It was really cool. And one of the rules was if I couldn't answer the question, I had to have a shot of 2.2 million Scoville rated hot sauce, which is some of the hottest hot sauce I could find. It was Carolina Reaper hot sauce. And I was doing shots of it, like shots. Right. And it was bad. It was rough. Right. I won't lie to you. I had milk next to me and I was drinking it and gargling it and it was still bad. And then I touched my lips and that was hurting. It was bad. But essentially, so I was doing this thing and we see a lot of my regulars who've been around for a while. know that they've seen the thousands upon thousands of people ask, can you review my channel? How do you install the fonts, LJ? Like all the repeated questions from beginners who are struggling, right? I'm not making fun of people for doing those things. We all started there. Exactly. It's more just that they come to my stream and they can see that I'm doing like a game or a big bit or like a challenge or something like that. And they'll just like keep saying, review my channel, review my channel, review my channel. Come show me how to install the fonts. Show me how to install the fonts. Show me how, like they just like, they want to like take that space and say, you right now are live and you should give your time to me to help me, right? Which is never what my stream is supposed to be. So We See, who's one of my channels, called We See, CC, We See, right? That's like their full thing or something like that. And it's like WIISII, WIIISII, We See. Like it goes back and forth. And they made a joke saying, can you review my channel? Right? And I was like, you know what? Fine. Yeah, let's do this, Weezy. Let me review your channel, right? And I pull up Twitch and I'm at the bar and I'm like typing and I'm like, okay, twitch.tv/WIII. Weezy Talk, SIII. Weezy, change your fucking name. Like that's all it was, right? That's like the whole thing. And you're right? Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right. Because it's also like Small Ant, right? He had to remove the 1 from his name. You know what I mean? And like, that was a big deal, removing the 1 from his name. And people are like, LJ, why don't you remove the underscore from yours? And I'm like, well, because I have now got over 80 videos where I say Eljayem underscore and there's a link in the description. You know what I mean? And people type that out and they go there. But like, I really do. I think your name matters a lot. And I think people kind of just like forget how important it is. Like, no offense, Nick. But Nick, I go to your channel wrong, like probably 50% of the time. Because I write Nicktacular, right? Like, like with the ER,
Trust
right?
me,
like,
if I could have had the R, I would have.
yeah. I think it really fucking matters. Also, on a side topic of that, after Weezy said that, which I knew it was a joke. I know Weezy doesn't stream, but I thought it'd be funny to try type her name out. Afterwards, like literally as I was typing it out, like 10 people who hadn't spoken at all that stream came out of the woodworks going, how do I go in the queue to get reviewed? Are we reviewing? How do I do this? How do I get reviewed? What do I do?
They're just like all
how do I get reviewed?
They're like, oh,
I want to be reviewed. Review me instead. I got a better name. Review me. It's short. It's easy to write. And I'm like, two things going through my brain. I'm like, one, have you just been sat here this whole time just not listening? Yeah. Clearly this was a joke. And two, how are you this like missing whooshing the joke that hard? Like I was like. I don't know, man. I was like, fuck me. Yeah.
They're there for a reason, and they do come out. I find that there's really weird times where people come out of the woodworks, like for reasons that you don't understand, and you're like, they must just be sitting there lurking, doing work or whatever it is. But there is this one point, like usually every few streams, where you can say the most random stuff, and that's when you get like 20 people replying, and you're like, that was the most inane thing I just did. Yet here you are like responding to that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just like, what made you come out rather than me getting like a jump scare from this terrible freaking monster in this horror game, which is like, to me, a big deal, to then me going, oh, I need to go and change, you know, I need to go wash the windows after this. And then people going, yeah, I washed my windows the other day. He's like, what, how, why, what made you come out and go, that's the point I need to comment on? I don't understand sometimes the whole flow of chat. I don't get it. That's the thing I can't control.
One of the things that I've recently come to terms with is that, and I think this used to be something I loved about streaming, and now I'm starting to dislike it a little bit. And like, not dislike's the wrong word, but like this is something I used to love. And as I get a little bit more established, or as I learn a bit more, or as I learn more about myself and who I want to be, I used to love the fact that Twitch was the place of interaction.
Yep.
Right? Like people wanted to chat. And so I could go live, play a game, and I would just chat shit to them. And we just have a conversation. There was very rarely any jokes. It was mostly just like anecdotes, maybe a crack here and there, but mostly it was just me chatting, right? Like that's how I grew, was just playing games that I loved for like a month and then just talking to people, right? And because I've got the gift of the gab. I can talk for hours. But like, as I get a little bit bigger, I start to realize that it kind of sucks as well, because like I was telling you guys, I did a poll on Stream Scheme just the other day, and it's literally just, I just said, does the size of a streamer matter to you. And 75% of them said 75% of people said no, right? Which is great. That's awesome. And then 25% said yes. But I want to look at the comments of this because this is the outspoken group, right? The majority of the comments are saying some pretty like intense things about like literally like let me read one out, right? And this isn't a bad thing. It's just like it's something that I find interesting. So this is by a guy called Quantum. Okay. Not a bad person either. I'm just reading it out because I think you guys will be interested. He quotes, "The larger the group, the more negligible the individual," end quote. "If chat is moving too fast, it's harder for the streamer to see my comment. So it's harder for you to connect," that's his wording, "connect with them or even other chatters, which makes it more like a show than a hangout. OTOH, the viewer count can be interpreted as an indication of the quality of the stream though. That's a bit tenuous reasoning. But for me personally, I look for the content and the streamer themselves. And if there are at least a handful of other viewers present who are enjoying to chat with, I'm good." Okay. Now let me read another one. Okay. So that's probably the most level comment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now let me read another one. "It's kind of the reverse for me than what this poll says. The smaller the channel, the more likely I'll watch. They put more effort into their videos than the bigger channels do. And the bigger channels, which probably just pay someone else to do all the background stuff. I used to know quite a few YouTubers, just a few hundred subs, but as they grew, they got disconnected from their audience. Take my channel, for example. I do everything. I do the filming, the editing, the animation, the effects. Yeah, it takes me over a week just to make one 10-minute video, and I get so much burnout because of it. I don't know where I was going with that."
That kind of seems quite hand in hand with maybe the content.
I'll go through a couple more really fast ones.
Okay.
"I generally like to be in smaller streams because your messages get read out and doesn't feel like you're being totally ignored." Okay. "I tend to watch smaller streamers because they actually interact with their chat. Big streamers, I will just watch them on YouTube. Why bother?" Dude, it's the entire comment section. It's the entire comment section.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You're allowed to watch whatever you want. Watch what you want to watch. But man, I don't think I've ever gone to a stream because I want my messages to be read out.
No.
That is just not me. That is not why I'm on Twitch. I am on Twitch and I watch people if I think they make funny as fuck or good content.
Yes.
I watch Chiblee, and Chiblee will just straight up ignore entire subs and stuff if he doesn't think if he thinks it's gonna ruin the content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a fantastic streamer, and I just I don't know. I guess for me, it feels like the guy said it feels like a show rather than a what did he say? It feels like a show rather than a hangout. And I guess for me, and maybe this sounds bad, I'm not supposed to be a hangout.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be you're hanging out with your friend LJ. I'm supposed to be a show. I'm supposed to be a show with a bit of back and forth to it. And I guess it kind of it's not like I don't want chatters. I like chatters. There's a back and forth to the show. But I guess I just find it very hard, I guess, because I also know that the people commenting on this are the majority of my audience,
right,
to a degree, which makes me go, okay, so that's why when I do titles like I read every chat message, or things where I'm giving I'll give every chatter a nickname. That's why they do so well, is because everyone feels like they're getting a small bit of attention and time.
Yeah.
And that makes me cringe a little bit. And there's another comment which I hid it because I didn't want this to be on the post. And the comment was, he was like, "In one of your videos, you said that all people want when you're small is to have their message read out. They just want a little bit of attention," which is it's my video about how to get chatters, because that is true. I think when you're small, your biggest power is you can just read out every message.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people love that shit. And he goes, "That made me cringe. I don't want them to read out every single one of my messages, but I definitely feel like I hang out with streamers because we're friends," and all this. He goes on this big rant about how he doesn't just want attention. He's friends with these streamers. He spends all his time there because they're close, and he's building a bond with them and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, that is what streamer is encouraging that?
Yeah. And also the comment about I want to put comments into the chat, but I don't want them read out. I don't understand that. Because
I think he's just meaning I don't just want attention, I want a relation. He's trying to say
I'm sorry.
He's
right.
They want more.
Yeah.
They want
wants his
more.
messages read out, but it's not because he just wants attention. It's because he's building a bond. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's awkward.
It's
yeah.
It's like you're cringing at people who want attention, but you're writing this. Like,
Yeah.
what the?
Yeah, that's not healthy in my eyes. I mean, I used to say, but yeah, again, separation. You need that separation. Again, the parasocialness of it is kind of makes me awkward.
Yeah, like if you're going in with the intent of being more than just a regular name that the streamer recognizes, then you're probably going to be setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
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 Like it's fine to be a regular, and you can be a regular chatter, and like even bigger streamers will sometimes be able to identify regular names that they see a lot. You know, regular subscribers and whatever, right? That doesn't automatically mean that you've suddenly got this buddy, best friend relationship with them.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that.
They don't.
Listen to two more of these comments,
Okay.
right? I refuse to watch any streams that have over 200 viewers. And typically, I'll always stay under 100 viewers. More than that, and you're only getting interaction with things like sub notifications or money. What? That's okay. For starters, if that's what a streamer wants to do, that's fine, right? That's totally fine. And if that's what you want to watch, that's fine as well. But like, it's such a blanket statement that it's like, do you really not want to absorb as much content and figure out exactly what this platform is as much as you can? Here's another one. I watch streamers with up to 20 viewers. It's easier to talk with those types of streamers, and that makes it more enjoyable to watch.
Again, it comes down to, because for me, when I go on Twitch, I love lurking. I'm a big old lurker. If we did the Divine 9 question to me and it's like, would you rather chat or lurk? I like to lurk. I like to watch people just do their thing, you know what I mean? And just like be entertained by it.
It's like a Twitch bio. I like to watch and be watched.
I like to, that's exactly my bio is I like to be watched. But the thing for me is like, I can understand that if you're looking for interaction and you want to go to people, obviously the people with the lesser viewers, they've, as we said, more time to read the chat and probably will if they're, good streamers, I would say. But it's still this awkward thing of like this blanket statement of like, you can't be good or you can't be interactive or you can't be this, that, or the other if you're over a certain size of viewers. That kind of boggles my brain in terms of the size aspect.
Yeah, they're just what that person said is basically just gatekeeping. It's like, I will not watch anyone over 200.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I had the opposite happen to me just on Sunday, where I was like halfway through stream, we're having a good time playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! And then someone comes in and says, can you just like stop talking and play the game? and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to stop talking, so you can just get out.
That is the weirdest thing. I hate those. I reckon they're kids that piss me off to such an extent. My
It's just
God.
hilarious.
I was doing a just chatting segment before playing Pokemon Arceus once, and a guy called Zelda Man 14 or something like that just wrote in chat, shut the fuck up and play the game, fuckwit. Yeah. And so we banned him, and his unbanned request was, why was I banned? And now it's a community meme. So now if I'm talking too long, a lot of people will be like, just play the game, fuckwit. I want to read out one more question, but then I have a really cool topic I want to talk about.
Yes, of course.
I like streamers who acknowledge my comments. If there's too many chatters, then my comments often get skipped over, so I won't stick around. I personally want to connect with the streamer, not the people in chat, to be honest, so yes. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's fine. You like what you like and you do what you do, but like, this isn't me saying anyone here is evil or bad. I'm just trying to say like, I like reading out messages and interacting, but I know that if I ever want to be a big streamer, my core content is way more important. You know what I mean? Like I need to be making good content.
Yeah.
Like, and that doesn't come down to reading out every single message. And I don't know, I guess just reading this made me go, yeah, I don't want to, I don't want to be, I guess, I'm trying to find a good way to put this, but essentially, I don't want to be parasocial, or not even parasocial. It's like, I don't want to grow purely because people like getting a rush of serotonin or dopamine when I read out their message.
Yeah. You that's the thing. Like that's the when people are saying these things of like, oh, if I can't interact with someone, like I'm not going to watch things like that. They're putting someone's value on how much that they can read the chat rather than themselves and their content. And to hear that is incredibly rough. Like, to everybody who really works hard to put on good content and to put on, like, you know, them best selves when they're on camera, and to make sure that not only is their content good, but, you know, they're trying to be entertaining or offering value from themselves as well. To get told that their only value is the fact that, you know, they're reading chat messages, or that they're not valuable because they're not reading enough chat messages or interacting with enough people. It's rough. And look, I get it from the perspective of that, you know, Twitch is a live format. People enjoy going into a stream that is currently live and, you know, kind of having that some level of interaction. But I think, like, look, as LJ said, you know, people like what they like, they'll watch who they watch, and that's fine. But I think at some point, some people need to realize that channels grow, and as you get bigger, it can be a little bit more difficult to read every chat message or, you know, or interact and things like that. You know, people will be having their own conversations in the chat anyway. So it's funny, but also rough to hear at the same time. And that's why content's so hard.
I guess to me, right, I read a lot of these and I take it all on board. I also do, I will clarify, I do realize that 75% of them said size doesn't matter, winky face. But like that's fine and all well and good. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, it really made me aware of content, right? And like who I want to be is all I was trying to say. Watch whoever you want and enjoy whoever you want. That's fine. But I would rather have 50 average viewers who are just like super love my content. They just love my content, right? They don't care if I read out their messages or not. Then have 100 who are only there because I'm reading everything out.
Yeah.
Like, I guess to me, it's just like one of those things. I have people there because they like my art, right? And I know people, oh, it's streaming. It's like, I'm trying to like, they like what I'm trying, my entertainment, like they like what I'm putting out there, right? The other one, they literally, I could do anything. I could be shitting on the floor as long as I'm reading out their messages. You know what I mean? Like, and like, I sometimes I do shit on the floor on my stream, but I know people watch me for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a thing that I want to share with you.
Okay.
So I'm writing the script about why you need to ban chatters.
Okay.
Right? Why you need to ban specifically bad chatters. Okay. And I came up with some logic, and I don't know if you guys have heard similar logic before, but I wanted to to share this with you. This is some logic that I've come up with. Okay.
Logic. Okay.
Streaming is great. I do love streaming.
Okay.
But holy shit, one person has way too much control over your stream. Like, one individual in chat has way too much control, right? Bad mods have way more, obviously, but there are also just people who can just send follow bots at you, right? There are just trolls. There are just people who don't understand the vibe. There are negative people who can just throw off your entire chat. Like, there are so many things that just one person can do that just fuck you up, right? And side note, by the way, now when people ask me if I'm the guy from the Twitch ads, I say no. What are you talking about? Because for the last couple of weeks, every time I've said yes to that, I've been follow botted right after, which is hilarious.
Lovely.
Right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So essentially there's I love streaming, right? And say I have like 100 viewers, okay? And 1% of them are an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Are just like a troll or something like that. You'd say, okay, well, harden up. It's just 1%. It's one person, whatever, deal with it, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's not that bad. You got one more viewer than us. I'm going to give you guys a sandwich. Okay? I'm going to give you guys a sandwich. It's your favorite type of sandwich. What is your favorite sandwich right now?
Oh, jeez, man. You're putting me on the spot here, but it's got to be some sort of deli meat with some sun-dried tomato.
Is a hot? Are you counting hot dogs as a sandwich? Are we going down?
I don't mind. You're gonna eat a sandwich, whatever you want. Okay, I'll let you have it.
All right. Okay, I'm going with a salami sandwich. Let's just say that salami.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm just gonna go boring and just a nice like chicken salad little sandwich. All right.
Okay.
One of those. Yeah.
Now, your sandwich is 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. But I will be honest with you. About 1% of your sandwich is a small pellet of human shit. just literal human shit I've put inside your sandwich. Now you've taken a bite. You really love your sandwich.
Yeah.
But now I've revealed to you that 1% is literal human shit in there. You probably don't want to keep eating the sandwich.
How much did I pay for the sandwich?
Maybe it's an extra flavor.
Variables here?
Yeah.
It was $20.
But like, you probably wouldn't still want to eat the sandwich if 1% of it was human shit. No. And you go, okay, well, let's ban the human shit. Yeah, but how long was the human shit sat in your sandwich? How long was the human shit infecting the rest of your sandwich and making it a worse vibe or making it crappy to be a part of, right? You'd probably not want to eat the sandwich anymore and you want to throw the whole sandwich out, right? Like, this is my new logic when people talk about, like, you know, bad chatters and whether or not you ban them or whether or not it is. It's like, dude, would you throw out a whole sandwich because you because you left some shit in there? Yeah, you probably would.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to end up throwing out your whole chat the longer you leave your shit in there, okay? Don't shit in your sandwich.
I like this metaphor, and it does make a lot of sense. And you're right. I'm definitely guilty of leaving a pellet of shit in the sandwich for way too long. I'm definitely guilty of it.
We all
I think everyone is at some point, right?
Definitely.
But like, this is like my new thing. It's like, I'm just like, and like, this is, okay, so this is one of the big reasons why I had to explain this to someone the other day. Someone was like, LJ, it doesn't seem like you're putting as much time and energy into your stream anymore. I was like, okay, well, I haven't for the last 3 months, sure, but I am now again, and we're putting more stuff out. But yes, most of my energy now is in going into diversifying over to a YouTube channel. And this isn't because I dislike Twitch. It's literally because I don't have the mental fortitude to be able to put up with how much control one individual person has on ruining my content.
Yeah.
Like exactly. The other day, I was doing Twitch spawns. It was like so much fun. We were having a great time. Hey, are you from the ad? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. 200 follow bot. Instantly. And like Twitch spawn, so any interaction causes the game to do something.
Right.
So like I gotta close it, otherwise I'm gonna have 200 zombies in my fucking world chasing me around. Like, and I was just like, it's just like they have so much control and it ruins the content for the other people watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas if I was offline and I was just doing a recording of a fun game with a stupid thing or doing a collab with like you guys, maybe we play Super Mario Stars offline, right? And it's like, we're not going to have someone come into our chat and go, aren't streams meant to be entertaining?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one can come in and go, here's a follow bot. No one can come in and say a slur. There's no way to fucking throw it all off because it's like, I love streaming. I do. But man, one person has so much power over your entire stream.
Yep.
And they truly are a pellet of human shit.
Yeah, like that person.
Damn it!
The timing could not be better. The timing could not be. You need to TikTok that Nick right now.
Oh my God.
I didn't turn my alerts off.
Oh, I love it. That was like perfect timing though. That's
I gotta mark it 1 hour in.
You've got to mark that. That is the best TikTok you could make right there. Oh my God.
What's this gonna be? Episode 20?
6,
25?
25? Something like that. Sorry.
I don't know.
Do it today.
Look, essentially all I'm saying is I adore streaming. I love it. But it has been the follow bots lately and the trolls lately. Like just people, like I've had people being like, I've told a joke and like, because my chat's been a bit slower, you know, only like 2 people have posted like a KEKW or something like that. Right. And then someone will write, any laughers? No one's laughing and stuff like that. Or like so you know what I mean? And it's like the Ludwig story of like when he used to play Toontown like years ago and he had like 30, 40 average viewers and he played Toontown, no one's watching him. And he's like looking over at chat and he looks over and someone writes, stop looking at chat. No one's here, bro. And it's like, fuck me, dude. Like these people have so much power.
It hurts.
It's like, God damn.
Yeah, it really does. And I don't think people understand how much it does affect you because I find like there are days that I can just deal with it, you know, like I'm like, okay, whatever. But there is that thing of like death over like 1,000 pinpricks. You know what I mean? There's just that breaking point where you just get that one jab of like, why isn't anyone talking? Or, you know, things like, am I the only one here? And it's just like, it just hurts, bro. It's like you want to create this environment that's kind of nice and positive, and then it still affects you to a degree, even though you try and not make it affect you. Yeah.
No, that's
I
true.
don't know. I just wanted to share my new analogy for it.
It was good.
No, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. The shit
like
sandwich.
that's
that will be the next stream scheme video. The shit sandwich.
Just a big old shit.
Not next one, but I am going to write it. I think it's going to be called like how to grow on Twitch by banning people.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
That'll be good.
I
That's
would
good.
click
That's
on
good.
that. So I was going to say, I'll bring up a theme. I was thinking about this in when we're talking about our previous topic. But we're talking about diversifying. I'm seeing a lot of influencers, or I should say big content creators right now, who are going into the field of video games. And I don't mean streaming video games. I mean actually making video games. You see Dr. Disrespect, you see 100 Thieves. Exactly, you see 100 Thieves like we're going to come out with our own video game. How do we feel that that's going to go? Because they are the
100 Thieves
Okay,
announced.
starters, Dr. Disrespect isn't a video. He's not making a video game. He's making a fucking NFT pipeline to people.
Yes.
It's fucking ridiculous. The dude's just scamming his audience further. Shock and horror. The guy who got banned, the guy who cheated on his wife, the guy who spends all his time insulting people, arguing, subtweeting YouTube stuff. The most toxic fucking character on the internet, pretty much. Not most, but like one of the most like largest toxic people.
Yeah.
Like he's like
4chan was a person.
He's like, YouTube won't give me money and support me. Yeah, well, you know why? It's because you got banned from another platform, dude. You got no leverage. Calm down.
That's true.
All right.
That's very true.
Go sit in the corner. I don't know. I don't know. He just acts like a giant toddler. And people are going to be like, wow, Eljayem's really harsh here. Dude, go look up some of the behind the scenes footage of like people streaming at conventions. Some dude is streaming at a convention in IRL, walking around, and Dr. Disrespect is there, and Dr. Disrespect starts screaming at him like, turn that fucking thing off, get out of here, no one wants you here, you little piece of shit. Like, just screaming at him, right? Screaming at him. And it comes out the reason why he did it, and all this is caught on camera. He bullies the guy down to the point where the guy's crying. And the reason he did it was because he was there with his mistress. He was literally there at the convention with his mistress and got caught on camera by the guy IRL streaming.
Real?
And
When
like,
was
so
this?
he just starts. This was years
Yeah, I was
ago.
gonna
This was
say,
fucking years and years and years ago. Like, dude,
This seems
Dr.
so-
Disrespect. He's fucking yeah.
It seems so detrimental. Like, if you're trying to be inconspicuous, why make a scene of it? Like, just
I'll have to try and find it, right? But like, it was yeah.
Please
I
do.
don't know.
I want to see this.
Essentially,
Yeah.
and now he's doing NFTs in his pipeline of his game, right? And he's being like, do you not want the ability to own individual pieces of the game and asset and stuff like that? And everyone's right. Yeah, sure, but why does it have to be an NFT?
Yeah.
Why can't that just exist? Doesn't they already do that on Steam and like all these other places? And he's like, yeah, but imagine the blockchain. It's so fucking
I'm
bad.
glad you mentioned 100 Thieves though, because I remember seeing that post and like they just made this big deal, dramatic. And I'm
announcement,
like,
huge. I was like,
this huge paragraph of thing, and I'm reading through it, going, okay, this is pretty big. They don't hint towards whatever it is in their tweet and whatever. And then it's literally like the second to last line of like, oh yeah, we're making a video game. It's like, you absolute asshats.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the thing, like in terms of, I see a lot of big streamers, a lot of big personalities, corporations, houses, whatever you want to call them. They are now going into the world of video games, now making their own, putting out their own IP. And I think that's a very interesting thing because let's be honest, when you look at any streamer, when they play a game long enough, they start to shit on it. You know, they will start to go, this is wrong. How are the devs not doing this? Fix this, balance this, that, and the other. And now they're going to be on the other side of it, where they will have that constant amount of bombardment. Even if their game is perfect, even if it's 100% correct, there's always going to be someone who's going to differ in opinion and go, they should remove this, should be nerfed, this should be buffed, yada, yada, yada. Do we see that as going to be a good thing for them in terms of, yeah, we are diversifying, we were the creators and now we're creating games? Or is it kind of like they're just trying to get more income and they'll just release any old crap?
I think there are two forms of this, right?
Okay.
There are the people like 100 Thieves, Dr. Disrespect, all these people who do these things. Also, I'm going to add to this quickly because just in case someone says, Dr. Disrespect also walked into a public bathroom and live streamed over the side of a public bathroom. Like while people are trying to take shits and piss, he walked in there with a camera publicly. Like, no one can comment on this being like, hey, leave him alone.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a millionaire. He's done some fucked up shit. Call him out. But essentially, look, there are two sides of this, right? I think there are the people who are super out of touch in everything they're doing. Right? And those are the 100 Thieves and stuff like that. Not out of touch in a bad way, but I don't think they're going to make good video games.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like Valkyrie and her skincare product shit, where they've just signed their name on to help boost it. And they're getting a big fat paycheck to help boost it.
yeah.
Then I think there's the complete opposite side of that. And I think it's Yogscast games, right? And these are guys who are like incredibly ingrained in gaming. Like they love video games, they love indie games, they know every single dev thanks to things like the Jingle Jam, and they've made mistakes in the past with games and they've learned from it, right?
Yep.
And so, for example, Yogscast Game published and helped make The Trolley Problem, which is a fucking wild game. It's such a cool but wild game. They made House Flipper, I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
Oh no, maybe no, I think they made Landlord Super.
Right.
But they've made all these games, right? And they're really good games. Like Brunch Club was made by them as well, which is a really fun little game. And essentially what I'm saying is, and there are two sides of it. One side is going to be the people who just like, they just get involved to boost up the numbers of a sale, and then all they're doing is making more money. And then there's the other side of it of people who like, they are aggressively ingrained and they're using their audience and their funding from all these platforms to publish really talented indie games. Like, so Yogscast also did Cave Blazers, which is really fun. It's kind of like a Spelunky, but like medieval. It's fucking sweet, dude.
Right.
And they made like Glurp, which is similar to Quap, but also like Quap meets a big multiplayer, fun kind of game. It's just like, that's my thoughts. Like I think there are influencers who get into it for the wrong reasons and influencers getting into the right reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Coming soon though, Stream Scheme Viper Cologne.
We'll buy 10 of them.
Please.
But yeah, I found it very interesting that we are now going into where places will become production houses. Like you kind of see it with Germa when he did his big Sims house. I think it was called the Dollhouse, something like that.
The Dollhouse.
The Dollhouse. And it was basically like a IRL improv version of The Sims. And I can see that happening with bigger creators as well. Like, you know, we've always talked about eBay and things like that. But I believe there will come a point where the personality will then come into the brand and the brand will then spawn a whole multitude of umbrella things, because there will be a time where the streamers who made that conglomerate, whatever it is, that production house, don't want to be in front of the camera anymore. That like kind of like what Smosh did and stuff like that, where they brought on more people to be part of it, and then they do their own little like kind of like, here's this segment on the YouTube, here's this segment, this is this person, Rooster Teeth, for instance. They bring people in and they've made this whole kind of amazing, you know, content house. Do we see that happening with Twitch? Because at the moment, it is very much about the individual. You go on Twitch and it's all about the individual. It's not like you're watching a stream for, apart from, I should say, Geek and Sundry, but I think they mainly, you know, only use it to live stream than it was to make itself on Twitch and then blow up. Do you see that as like a possibility in the future where you are going to see things like Mizkif's, like it's just a brand name rather than it's Mizkif himself?
Yeah, I think for some people, like you look at Ludwig and he's talked about it very openly, where he said at some point he's going to stop and he's going to work on bigger and better things. Like he wants to work on like larger productions and things like that. And I think it comes from a lot of people who, I guess they'll fall into it. It's like they're just going to be happy with just the comfort zone. Like they've made it and they're just going to chill there and they continue doing the same thing with no further aspirations. And that's not a bad thing and not an insult to those people. Like they've worked to get to where they were and they're happy with where they are. Like someone who would come to mind would be someone like Asmongold. Like he's going to continue doing the same thing. He's never talked about doing anything more. He's just going to continue doing, you know, WoW or, you know, put personality-based stuff, which is what he does. He'll just react to things. But then you have, on the other side, people like Ludwig. And I think Mizkif definitely has that sort of that creative drive as well, where he wants to do some bigger and better things. He doesn't want to just be sitting in front of a camera playing a different game every day. Yeah. So, I think everyone will kind of fall into one of those two categories. So yeah, I think over time, you probably, I think from the Twitch side, you'll probably see more people just kind of staying in their lane and doing their own thing, but there'll be a small percentage of people. So I don't know. I feel like it'll happen, but just not as much as we might think.
Yeah, I think the reason why I brought it up as well is because you go on YouTube, right, and you look at the most subscribed channels, and there's the individuals, like there's PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, all that type of thing. But then you get the companies like T-Series, Sony, Vivo, where basically they have put a stamp on the YouTube world, and they're basically like, this is just a commercial channel. Will there ever be a time when you're just going to see commercial live streams like Sony or something, whatever it is. Maybe they're just broadcasting their array of movies, or maybe they've just got people in talking about what's coming out on the PlayStation, like Game Awards, or, before the PlayStation press conference, things like that. Will we see that? Will there be backlash, or is it just going to be, because at the moment I see Twitch as a very kind of individual led movement. It is about the individual. It's about what you can bring, but it's never been about kind of like T-Series coming in and showing like, we're doing a live concert 24/7. You're the best, greatest hits, like that would dominate the airwaves because,
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this from 2 point of views.
Okay.
So firstly, let's look at it from, you've got the fact that Twitch, its strongest suit is its community culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you don't have a community culture from big corporations and things like that.
Yep.
So that's a big one. That's a really big one to remember. So I think personally, it's kind of like Ray William Johnson, where he tried to turn =3 into something else and hire a host while he went off and did other things, and it just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be a really big factor on Twitch. But here's the other thing, right? If we're looking for a technical point of view, most of those brands will probably just do it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll be on Twitch, because Twitch right now is great, but YouTube has a better technically like event space for streams, because they can use the bar properly. They can do like this, all the scrolling and stuff, and go back and forth and catch up instantly. And it's 4K. You can have 4K over there. You can do so many things. Like technically, YouTube has a better technical space. So like esports and stuff will use YouTube, because you can flip back and just watch the play again, keep going and stuff. And I think Twitch, to me, unless some massive changes happen, I think Twitch will always just be that place for people to go to have this, like, their feeling of connection and one-to-one. And I think that you'll always struggle to do that if it becomes too much of a corporation, right? OTK doesn't stream on an OTK channel. They stream on their channels, right?
With the branding,
and then they just with the branding, and then they'll do like collabs where it's like, again, it's not, I'm watching OTK. No, it's you're watching your favorite streamer doing a big collab event, right? You know what I mean? So that still stays there. I personally would say that I think that the future of that kind of stuff is people like Ludwig, who want to do those big events, will probably hire people and create new things. Their personal stuff won't change. So I don't think Ludwig's YouTube channel is ever going to be like Ludwig Meteor. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that way. I think he'll just make a brand new YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Similar to how he made one for Mogul Mail, right? Like, and similar to how Harris has done it, like we talked about earlier.
Yes.
But I also do think that it's a rare type of person who wants to go into those things. And I think the type of person who goes into those sorts of things, they won't go into doing more content as like a studio or a brand. They'll do what Pokey has done, where they've partnered with a agency to help streamers. You know, it's kind of like what I was talking about. Like, if I wasn't going to do this content stuff anymore, I probably would transition into doing like a community management role, or to a role where I work with streamers for brands. You know what I mean? And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm passionate about the space, but I also think that's a more sustainable and more interesting space that'll challenge me. And I think people will always want to be, those people who get massive like Mizkeef and Ludwig, they'll kind of always want to be challenged. And the question is where they want to be challenged. Like Miz says he wants to be challenged by doing more content on, more entertaining or more larger content, right? But Ludwig is like, yeah, you know, I want to do big content and live shows and stuff like that. But at the same time, I've done a bunch of them now, and I don't just want to do game shows. Now I want to do something else. And he's like, you can see he's trying to up it. I just think personally, I don't know. I think if we turn into studios and stuff, they'll just make whole new things and push people to that using their following. Because once you have a following, it becomes, if they're invested in you, then it becomes much easier to build new things.
Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, I just brought that up because I just remember when there was that whole big flashback, PewDiePie versus T-Series. It's the corporation versus the individual. We got to support the organic type thing. But shall we move on to our Q&As if we've got Q&As for this week?
We do have Q&As.
Hey,
beautiful.
We do. Let me pull them up.
Oh, good.
Question Master.
From the Question Master. I bow. I bend a knee.
Power. Okay, so this is from Rye Toast, who's a lovely,
We love Rye.
lovely
Good old
shout out.
Rye.
We love toast.
Great episode. I especially relate to the difficulty of narrating the game when not many folks are chatting, but it's got to be done. As far as the question goes, what are some ways to entice folks to chat in a Discord? Which I really like this question.
Ooh.
I've gone and set up some fun channels to post art, memes, streaks, and things, but since my Discord is still very small, it's mostly just me posting. I guess my question would be, if someone joined a Discord, do you think it'd be off-putting if the Discord seemed empty or if it's active by just the owner? Sadly, yes. Let's be real. Sadly, it is. And I personally don't think there's necessarily a solution other than to try and engage people with fun challenges. Like, one of the best solutions I've ever had was I made a memes channel where I would go through on stream and react to said memes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the way I implemented it didn't really work because there was a few people who were posting way more memes than anyone else, and that's totally fine. But then there were a few memes that I didn't really want to show on stream that made like jokes. Like, someone made a joke about child abuse.
Yeah.
They said like it was like when mom does X, when dad does X, and when dad does X, it was a hand holding a belt. And I personally would never make a joke about child abuse. I think that's fucked, right? And so I scrolled past it. And then I had people being like, why didn't you look at the meme? Go back. Why didn't you look at the meme? Go back to the meme, go back to the meme. And I'm like, guys, I'm not going to look at that one. They're like, why not? Look at the meme, right? I'm like, guys, I'm not going to do it. And like, that happened a few times.
Yeah.
There was another one where I wasn't going to watch a video because I knew it had DMCA music in it.
Yeah.
And this is the hype of the DMCA fear. I was like, guys, I can't watch that. It's got DMCA music in it. And they're like, watch it. I worked hard on that. Watch it. And that's fine. People are very passionate, and I'm glad they're passionate. But I stopped doing memes because I stopped feeling like I could just look at fun community memes and have a laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot of pressure and expectation to it.
Took the fun out of it.
Yeah, so I think one of the big things for me, if you're worried about getting engagements in Discord, is try and create fun value that they're going to want to be a part of, right? Like, I do challenges, Rye, as you know, about the step counts. You know, some of the most successful channels we've had are literally the step count channel or the Duolingo channel. I told everyone, let's start Duolingo together. I fucking fell off and failed, but there are still people in Duolingo who have like hundreds of days now, right? Like, they're crushing it. So the real problem is the fact that I'm struggling even with a couple, like 1,000 people in there. So like, Stream Scheme is also not super active, and we have 60,000 people. It's pretty active, but like, you know, so like the big thing is, man, is just try and create fun, engaging content on your stream. Push people to the Discord, and while you're on stream, try and like, this sounds bad, try and, if you can, rather than raid another streamer at the end of your stream, raid your own Discord. So like, a thing that I'll do probably like maybe once or twice a week, or if I'm feeling anxious and I don't want to know my view count at the end of a stream, rather than raid a streamer, I'll raid my Discord. I'll say, guys, today we are raiding our Discord, and what I want is all of your photos of your pets.
Yep.
Join my Discord with that link right there and post a photo of your pet in the pets channel, and I will pick the cutest pet and show them off next stream.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's like, that's my way of doing it. Does it work? Not always.
But it is a good strategy. And I definitely sympathize with you, LJ, because I'm in the same boat where, I mean, I have like, I think 900 to 1,000 people in my Discord, and it's not very active at all. But we've been actively making the effort to try and be more active. And it has been working. Like, I mean, some of the most active channels are like the Yu-Gi-Oh channels that we've set up, you know, people discussing and just, you know, posting their own decks and stuff like that. But yeah, you've got to do your best to create value. But Ryan, don't stop posting though. Like, still, like, yeah, that's the most important thing as well. It's like, don't feel like what you're doing is for naught, because the more, like, if you keep consistently being active in your own Discord, people will see that and they'll be more likely to also interact. But it is really tough. It is really tough. Some people, you know, there's going to be a majority of people that will tend to just lurk in Discords the same way that they lurk on Twitch, where they'll look in the Discord, they'll see the people talking, they'll see memes posted, and they'll enjoy them, and then that will be it. And there's not much you can do about that. It's just the kind of thing where you get the right people that will want to interact, and that'll be that. But I mean, I've had to talk to my mods as well. It's like we're trying to be actively, you know, thinking more about how we can just, by generally just being more active in there, it can promote more people to want to talk. Just by posting memes, or just by trying to come up with a topic to talk about. Doing like things like a movie night or a Jackbox night or something, just something to sort of get people in there. And it has been showing some good success, which has been good. I think it was the other day, it was like a completely random thing where someone posted a link to this it's called like your gamer profile, and it's like this survey. You answer like different questions, and it tells you like, you know, what on this like graph, like what stuff you like, based on the answers that you gave. And it was really cool. And just someone just posted that, and then we got like 10 different people that were filling out the survey and posting their results. So it's really trial and error. Just kind of give it a go, see what works, but don't keep posting. Try and sort of maybe talk to your mods and be like, hey, let's all you know, obviously not forcing, and you can't force anyone to be active, but just kind of promoting.
And if you do, you're fucked.
Yeah.
They'll just leave.
Yeah, but have a talk with your mods and ask them and discuss like, hey, what's some ideas we can think of to get people more active? Can we do this? You know, I tell my mods like, hey, if you see a meme and you're gonna post it somewhere, post in the Discord. You know, just like add it as a little extra step, maybe. You know, to kind of just have content being going in there. So. Yeah.
I think the main thing that I would say is they've already touched on everything that I would have touched on, but I would also bring it up on stream, not in terms of go to my Discord, but if someone's like, oh, you know, I've just got a new puppy, and you're like, oh yeah, post that in the Discord. I would then bring it up on the Discord on the stream, go to the subcategory that it's in, and show people, and they're like, oh, I can post my pets in there. I want to post my pets and see a live interaction with what I posted in the Discord. So that's another way that you can do it, is just really go into Discord, show it off on actual stream rather than going, I'll check it after stream, you know? They want immediate kind of gratification in that regard. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think that is helpful. I think the big thing is, honestly, when you're small, also try and run community events. They're very hard to do, but like, if you can have like weekly or fortnightly events where people are like in a channel chatting or playing a game or like Among Us or whatever it is together, you'll also have a lot of success. People will keep coming back to that Discord, because the reality is the majority of people watch Twitch because they can't get a big group of friends together to play a game.
Yeah.
So if you can give people a chance to like, you know what I mean? If you can get a big group of people together to play games, then people will love that shit, right? Crab game is free. It costs like 5 megabytes of data. But like, Steph is loading, says, great discussion today. I have an interesting question for your Q&A. How would you deal with family and friends in your stream that don't fit the vibe of chat or know are problematic but don't break any rules? I've run this problem a couple times. I have no idea how to deal with it. Steph, I'm going to answer this very quickly and then I'll let the boys do it. I ban anyone who knows me. That's literally what I do. If anyone knows me in real life and comes into my stream and I find out who they are, I ban them. Because especially if they don't tell me that they know me in real life. Because I think it's fucked up. I think it's actually messed up. Because also, most of the time, they don't care that you are trying to stay private or that you don't want to dox yourself. They'll just say shit. And it's like, okay, well, go away now. Like, I've had people, I've said to them, you found Stream Scheme. I didn't tell you about it, but you found it. Please do not join the Stream Scheme Discord. Don't come watch my stream. Don't talk that you know me. Don't tell people you know me. I don't want any of that connected to this, please. And then I see them appear in the Stream Scheme Discord within the week, or I see them in my chat, and I'm just like, all right, fine, banned. Like, if you're not going to respect it. Like, so my big thing is, my mum doesn't know my stream. My sister doesn't know my stream. Nobody knows it. If someone finds it by accident, that's on them. You know what I mean? But I let them know, I'm like, if just a heads up, if I see your name, I will ban you.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? I'm not going to do anything wrong. And I'm like, you're not?
Yeah, are you sure about that?
How can I trust that you're not going to do that? Because like, I know that people are going to be like, that's a bit harsh, but I promise you, it is not. It is like, you don't realize until it happens how fucking loose-lipped people are about things.
Yeah.
Like, they just are. They absolutely are. People don't have the ability to like realize what they're saying or doing, and how like it takes a tiny amount of stuff to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want people who know me in real life in my stream, right? Like, what happened to me once when I was smaller, I was telling a story, okay? And I changed one part of the story because if I'd said the actual restaurant where the story happened, people would be able to figure out what like small subset town I live in. Like, 'cause I live a little bit, like I live a couple hours out of Brisbane. People know that. But like, they'd be able to figure out like a small subset I live in, because there's only one outside of like New South Wales.
Yeah.
And so I changed the name of the restaurant, and someone in chat goes, no, it happened at X. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, obviously I'm doing that for a reason, right? Like, and they know that's the only one. And I was like,
it gets to the point where you have to specifically say, I'm going to change the name of the restaurant to not dox it. Like, you have to, you shouldn't have to, but you have to specifically say that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm the same. Like, any family or family friends, like, they know that I stream, but I don't tell them what the channel name is. I don't tell them what I am. I mean, like, you know, I've got a couple family members that follow my Instagram and stuff, but they don't, like, none of them are savvy enough to the extent of like navigating to Twitch and, you know, and obviously, you know, having to make an account and chat and things like that. So like I've kind of been lucky and like I've lucked out to be able to kind of separate that side of things. But I think I've only got 2 IRL people that, you know, actually come in. Well, one of them comes in stream semi-regularly, one of them once in a blue moon, but both of them understand the culture and understand to, you know, keep privacy and things like that. One of them is Adam, who's a regular watcher of the stream room, and he pops in my stream every now and then. And that's good because he, you know, understands and he, you know, he won't dox or do anything like that. So, but yeah, you have family who are not super internet savvy or things like that. They'll just have no understanding of what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I do have sometimes family come in, but my dad doesn't really know how to operate a computer, so he's fine because he doesn't know like what's going on here. You know, it's like trying to explain quantum physics to him, so it's great. And then my mum is very like private. She's, you know, I don't want to get too much into what she does for a living, but she knows that stuff. And then otherwise, in terms of friends, I have a few friends I know in real life who come into my stream, but they're good in terms of they know what to say and what not to say. But I obviously, you know, you worry about the fact of like if something gets leaked, then it's like you've got to live with that. You've got to live with it. But honestly, when it comes to family and friends, it's what you know is best. If you have a fear of being doxxed, if you have a fear of any type of people finding out your personal business when you don't want them to find that out, then you do have to be, as the boys mentioned, you have to just be like, I'm sorry, but this is for my best interest and probably for yours in the long run as well, that I just can't have you in the chat, you know, talking. I'm still obviously friend, family, all that kind of stuff, but I have to separate business from my personal life, and hopefully you understand that. And if they don't understand that, then that's on them. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I think it's I don't know. I think it's a very common question that people get asked, and it's like, if I could, I would have it so that not a single person in real life knows that I stream. I also hate going to parties where people will like bring up that I'm a streamer and like introduce me to people as, this is LJ. Yeah. He's actually a streamer. He does this YouTube channel and stuff like that. Too, right? I'm like, they're like, oh, what's your, they always also ask, oh, what's your ad? Let me look you up. And I always go, oh yeah, just look up Johnny Sins.
Just poison like, their Google search.
I don't know. It blows me away. But essentially you should just never. And again, this is kind of perfect. I didn't realize this was one of the questions we were going to have today, technically. Okay. But Steph, remember what I said earlier? If 1% of your sandwich is a piece of human shit, would you still eat the sandwich? You're worried about that piece of shit because the piece of shit that actually pooped in your sandwich was your sister. Are you still going to let your sister stay in your, like, you're obviously it's not actually your sister, but I'm just giving you a reference. Just because it's your friend or family that took a shit in your sandwich, are you still okay with the 1% of the shit?
Yeah.
It's still human shit. All right.
Family doesn't change it. It's always saying, yeah.
Look, it's just how it goes, all right? Okay, next up on the thing is from Connor. Not sure if you've touched on this. Sorry if I asked a repeated question. I would love an example of how I could talk to my chat when no one is chatting. I love to talk and connect with people. That's why I love streaming, but it's hard to find the motivation to stream when no one will be in chat to talk to. Love the podcast. Amazing work. I think we have touched on this. I know I've ranted about this a lot, so I'll let you guys go.
Sure. I'll start off, obviously. When you have no viewers in there and you don't know if people are watching you or not, the best thing you can do is narrate and ask rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions are your best friend. Do you reckon I should go down this dark road in this horror game, or should I just stay in the house? You know, stupid crap, man. When people do chat, obviously respond to them as soon as you can. Always have your, like you're driving a car, you're going looking at that rear view mirror, you're looking at the road, looking at the rear view mirror with the side mirror. You just got to keep your eyes flickering, because if you do have somebody who types and you don't respond to them within a reasonable amount of time, chances are they're not going to type again, or they've gone, or whatever it is when you're, you know, starting out in streaming. Also, another thing, please do not look at your viewer list when you're streaming and call them out so that you get them talking. They will just disappear.
Oh, but Ninja told me to do that.
Okay, actually, I revoke what I said. I sit corrected. Please call them out in the viewer list and listen to Ninja. But honestly, the best thing that you can do...
It's sarcasm. /S, just in case.
No, Eljayem, be serious. The best thing that you can do is obviously narrate, make it entertaining, make jokes, ask questions to yourself. Even if you answer them yourself, people want to come into a room which has some noise. If you go into like a mausoleum and you can hear like a drop of water echoing throughout, then it's going to be very, awkward for the both of you. So just keep it going and just be friendly. When people do type, just be friendly.
Yeah. And I think it's like, especially if you're playing like a horror game, or like, it's okay to, kind of be genuinely reacting to what's going on. Like if you're like terrified and you're like, like you're afraid to like make a noise, like that's okay. Like people aren't going to take that as you not talking because you're boring or anything. They're clearly like, oh yeah, he's going through a scary bit. It's understandable why he's being a bit more quiet. And it kind of helps sets the mood too. So when something happens and you scream, like it's going to be entertaining. But yeah, no, essentially, what you said, Reapz, is like you gotta. I think it's a weird thing. I almost feel like one thing that helped me before I started streaming was I actually tried to make Let's Play YouTube videos. I got it, like my original inspiration was, Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. And I'm like, you can go to my Nictacular Plays YouTube channel and go all the way to like the very start and you can see those old cringy videos. They're there. And that's what I did. Like I made a few of them and that was my practice. Whereas like I wasn't in a live environment. It was a recorded video. And so I could just focus. Literally the only thing I had to focus on was myself narrating and talking as I'm playing the game. And I think that really genuinely helped me when I then started streaming, because I'd already had that practice of how do I talk to people? How do I just narrate when there's probably not going to be anyone there? So in the early days, that really did help, so that when I started, I wasn't just what a lot of people are, where they just kind of sit there mostly silent. At the beginning, I was there and I was talking and I was, asking those rhetorical questions and reacting. So that's probably the best thing I can say is like maybe, and you know what, you just use it as dual purpose. Like if you have a YouTube channel set up, just like, depending on how seriously you're taking it, but like use it as a test. Just record something offline, record you playing a game, and use that as your practice, and then see how you go. Like that way, you're not doing it in a live. You're not experimenting in your live format. So give it a go.
Easy.
That was pretty much the rant from 3 weeks ago. If I went on my rant again, it'd just be the exact same as what Nick's just said there. Like I honestly think that one of the big things is that I think the thing that holds most streamers back is their view count. Like I actually think that if they weren't live, they wouldn't be struggling to talk. Yeah, that's I truly believe that. Because when you're live, your brain, your mindset is telling you're supposed to be replying to chatters because that's what you think streaming is, right? And like clearly that's what small streamers think streaming is based on the comments we read earlier. But like the reality is that not really. Like you can like I legitimately I always say this to people. It's like you don't want to be a YouTuber. You like interacting with people. That's well and good. But the reason you can't talk right now is probably not because you are bad at it. It's probably just because, well, you might need practice, but it's probably just because you keep thinking about the view count. There's 0. Yeah. Right? But like if you change your mindset and you go, okay, I'm streaming right now. I have one consistent viewer. You know who that viewer is? Me as an editor. I don't know what part's good. I don't know what part's bad. I just have to keep going at all times so this can be turned into something else. I think one of the big reasons why small streamers struggle to talk is because they sit there and they think, I've got 0 viewers. There's no point talking. You know what? I had someone comment, it's brain dead to sit there and talk to yourself with 0 viewers. I'm not going to talk unless I have chatters. And I wrote back saying, it's brain dead to sit there quietly playing a video game expecting someone is going to watch you when you have zero value for them. Yeah.
With that mentality, what do you think like the big YouTube Let's Players do? They're talking to themselves.
That's exactly it. I was like, it's like, because I always say, people always say to me, like I wrote a whole video yesterday, which is called, if you have 0 viewers, do this first or try this first or something like that. And the entire thing is like, okay, people comment these comments and I've saved a bunch of comments. I'm going to show the comments of people being like, it's brain dead. Or you're making videos for affiliates, people who have chatters. You don't make videos, people who have 0. We can't talk to no one and stuff like that. And like one of the big parts of it I say to them is, how the fuck do YouTubers do it? Because yeah, sure, YouTubers get to edit later, but you know what? They don't know what is good and what is bad. Yeah. They just have to make the whole thing as good as possible. You've picked the live format, right? Like you've picked that. You've still got to commentate. Yep. You know what I mean? Like I did a test recording. I did 60 to 90 minute recording the other day of a game offline. That is the tightest 60 to 90 minutes I've ever done. Because I had zero pressure. I wasn't worried about my internet. I wasn't worried about getting trolled. I wasn't worried about people laughing at my jokes right now. I thought, if this is a bad joke, I can cut it.
Yeah.
So I was much more confident. And also, I wasn't being follow botted. I wasn't being, had people trying to dox me or I've said this a lot recently and I think people can kind of see, but like, man, I love live content, but it is too stressful for me at the moment. Like it is so fucking stressful for me at the moment to do live content because it is just like, not even monetary or anything like that. It's like, yeah, I don't care about my viewers. I don't care that I only have 100 viewers. It's just the problem is, it's just like, it is so hard to keep putting on a happy face.
Yeah.
When 1% of human shit is able to ruin my sandwich.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So I honestly believe it's the mentality of viewership. It's mentality of the fact that you don't have viewers. You got every now and then even if you have 0 viewers, you're probably also one of those people you're trying to stream, you're trying to make good content. You're struggling a little bit because you're like, I got 0 viewers. What's the point? I don't have any motivation now because no one's watching me. Oh, someone chatted. Oh, it's by followers. And that just fucks you up even more. And it's like, it's just like, it's so hard to break that mindset. And I honestly believe that 99% of small streamers who are struggling with this, they wouldn't be struggling if they just didn't go live.
Yeah.
Just hit record instead.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's, they say like, oh, it's only the 1% make it. It's just, well, I mean, yeah, I think not only because of just how competitive and hard it is to grow as a creator, but I think because of a lot of people with that mindset where they aren't getting over these hurdles, or they aren't, they think that they're just so ingrained in their thinking, either because that's their own opinion that they formed or because someone told them that's how they should think.
Yeah.
And they just refuse to change. And yeah,
I don't know. I guess I said I wouldn't go on the rant again, but I'm going on the rant again. I'm very passionate about this because a lot of people say to me that having 0 viewers and 0 chatters is what holds them back. I'm not saying Connor is saying that, by the way, mate. I'm not telling you are. You're just saying you find it tough. But a lot of people openly say the reason they're not growing is because they have 0 viewers, 0 chatters, therefore they can't make good content. I had someone the other day comment on my video saying, how am I supposed to do crowd control and stuff like that when I have 0 viewers? You don't make videos that help people who have 0 viewers. I'm like, I didn't tell you had to do crowd control. No. I said that's like a concept you can do once you get a few chatters. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just in my head. I'm like, why does it mean that people have to watch you first before you're willing to put effort in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. If that was the case, then not a single human being on the fucking platform would have ever grown. They would have sat there dick in hand, 0 viewers.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's the thing. You've touched on it. The thing is, if you are going live, you are not there until somebody comes in. That is not your mission objective. Your mission objective is to do an improv show around the game that you're playing. And you know what I mean? Like, it's literally, this is the concept. I am playing, let's just say, Warzone, right? And in this 1 hour stream that I'm doing, I want to at least make myself laugh. If that's the one thing that you're going for, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a challenge where instead of trying to kill people, I'm just going to run around them until they, just like a thing in the background, right? Like I'm just going to run past them and, going to be completely passive. That's great. People can come in and they can enjoy that. But if you're sitting there with no sound and no concept, or people coming in have no concept of what you're doing because your title doesn't say anything, it just says you're playing Warzone, and you're not dictating why you're doing something, then it's very hard for anybody to latch onto that. I know that when I started streaming, I was just constantly talking. I was constantly trying to make myself laugh. I was constantly just throwing out some random ideas, and that's how I got viewers. That's how I got people sticking around. They're like, okay, this guy seems all right. Let's stick around a bit. And from there, it just got up. And when you get that first viewer, they're going to be there for you. And then another viewer will come in and go, oh, this person's talking, so I can do it. It's a snowball effect, but you have to start the snowball yourself. Yeah. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good analogy. I actually used that. Had used that analogy when I was talking with some of my mods about getting the Discord more active.
Yeah.
Was that we have to start the snowball ourselves, and then the more we keep pushing it, the more other people will come in and start interacting and helping us push that snowball and making the Discord more active. It's a really, really good analogy. But yeah, like for example, like I used to start streams, like, and I'd start chatting for a bit, I used to, this is quite a while ago, where I used to rely purely on people that were there to like give me something. But then when I started I would start stream, and the people that were there, I'd ask how they're going, but then I would immediately start talking about something, either something that happened that day or some news that was going on or whatever, right? And I would start going on and talking about this. And while I'm doing that, it gives more people to jump into the stream, but also people are also reacting to what you're talking about, and it gets that going. And it's the same, and it's the same analogy, like me talking about a funny story that happened at work that day, right? That doesn't require anybody to be in the chat, but by me doing that and telling this story or talking about this fun thing and giving my opinion, it gets people engaged, and then they want to share their own thoughts about it.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be the one to start it. You have to open it up and give people a chance to talk back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's another big thing I've always said to people. Like, come into this with a few talking points. If you can't talk about the game or anything like that, you should at least have a few talking points about things that you feel like you can rant about for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I for example, I've got a page here that I had from the other night, and I got a few things. These have all been covered. PlayStation State of Play I want to talk about. The new open world Sonic game looks hilarious. I had a sausage roll. Let's be real, sausage rolls beat meat pies any day of the week.
So good.
Why are smoothies so shit yet so expensive? Anyone else just feel terrible about themselves because Bo Burnham is clearly a god? You know what I mean? Like I've just got all these things here where it's just like oh yeah, the Bo Burnham one is good because I just going on this rant about how like, you ever just think about the fact that like some human beings just like, they are just bangers. They just like smash it. And I'm sat here in my pants right now, like doing nothing. Talking about the Jubilee and how wild it is the UK still gives a shit about their queen. Do you want 6 monitors or 3 monitors? What is chaotic? What is the right one? You know, like I got all this shit, right? And like I've been doing this for 2.5 years. Every single night I've got a page of these, right? Like every single night I've gone live, I've got a page of these. This one's about how I bought AirPods and I got them engraved. I got a Twitch bucket hat. I went for a walk around the time where kids were finishing school. And so a lollipop lady was like forcing me to stop and like made me by myself with no other kids. Like she stopped me and said, hold on, and goes out on there, whistles and goes, go on. And I was like, fuck, I must look like an idiot with my little bucket hat walking around in the, yeah, you know, Mario Kart mods, everything. Like I've got literally pages upon pages upon pages of this, and I save every one, right? Like I think I've got like 20 notebooks that I can show you guys that is just talking points. Check this out.
Okay. To those people who are listening to the audio podcast, Eljay's just getting up and collecting a crap ton of notebooks. Holy moly.
And there's another like 10 over here as well. Like I'm not joking.
Ooh, wow.
You know what? Subs are cool.
Subs are really cool.
Subs are cool. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I think a lot of people don't realize like how much time and energy goes into trying to keep myself active and talking. And like I treat it more like doing Seinfeld stand-up kind of thing, right? Like, what's the deal with meat pies? You know, like, what's the deal with smoothies? It's just blended fruit. Why is it $11? You know what I mean? Like, and like, I think people, they don't really realize that the amount of things they can do, right?
Yeah.
Like to get themselves going.
Taking the Jerry Seinfeld thing a bit too literally.
What's the deal? Love it. But yeah, I think that's the main point. I guess a lot of zero viewers can really work off is, yeah, I get it. You've got 0 viewers. Oh no, a chat didn't come in and chat to you. So that's why you're not growing. You've got to start it off. You've got to talk. Like you've got to offer something. If you're just, imagine 2 people standing in a room and none of them are talking. None of those 2 people are talking. What's going to be gained? Nothing. It's a waste of all your time. So be the one who's like, hey, how you going? Then the other person will probably go, good. How are you? And it just goes from there. So just, I don't know, just talk. Just fucking talk is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know it sounds hard, but hopefully you got a few tips and bits and bobs from this one. And at the end of the day, it is a skill to practice. And also, Connor, if you've been listening to the podcast or if you've watched any videos by me before, you should know about the 10-minute tip. I don't want to have to rehash it, but if you don't, you should by now know about the 10-minute talking tip. And if you're not doing that, that's the first step.
Yeah.
That is the absolute first step.
Don't be afraid to laugh at your own jokes too.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. Someone has to.
Like 100%. My mate said to me, I said to him once, I was like, what, I was trying to figure out like my why and who I am as a content creator. And so I asked a bunch of people who know me quite well, including mods, some mates that I've known since I was like 2 years old and stuff like that. And he said to me, let me pull it up. It's pretty fucking funny, actually. He goes, honestly, I think your biggest strength is that you're not special whatsoever. You are probably the most down-to-earth, genuine, and sometimes you're pretty funny without going to extremes, but really you're just very average. And I think that makes you relatable and easy to watch. Other streamers seem to try and have their energy at 100% the whole time. I get exhausted in 2 seconds, or they blow up their reactions. But the reality is, for you, you just sit there laughing at your own jokes, which I think is the best. Because if you think you're the funniest guy that you know, then that's good. On top of that, the educational content without talking down to people. Like, you've never shut someone down and you don't make them feel stupid when they ask a question. And I was like, well, that's very wholesome. I do think I'm very mediocre. But that is a guy who's known me since like we were 2 years old.
Right.
He was writing that. And I thought that was an interesting an interesting approach. About why I might have value. And a lot of people said similar things.
Yeah.
Like I asked like 15, 20 people and a lot of them had the exact same thought. And the laughing at your own jokes, I think is a really big one.
Mm-hmm. Shows you're confident in yourself and you're comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. I do think one of the problems I will have to work very hard to move away from is that a lot of people in my community don't actually share my sense of humor. Because they watch me from Stream Scheme or they found me from Stream Scheme, and that's fine. But they don't actually have the same sense of humor to me.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, Reapz, I'd say the majority of your chat has the exact same sense of humor as you.
Yes.
Which means they make really funny jokes for you to bounce off.
Yes.
And a lot of communities have that. Like Germa's entire chat is fucking hilarious.
Yes.
Right.
Germa's
but a lot of my chat are smaller creators who are watching me, but they don't actually have the same sense of humor. So a joke that I will say might make like 15, 20% of people in my chat laugh. And that's like the 15, 20% who found me from Twitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like they very heavily relate to that kind of thing. And that's always going to be something I'm going to struggle with until I can create a funnel that brings people in for me,
yes.
which is one of the reasons why 8 months ago I said, I'm not answering your streaming questions anymore on stream.
It's a smart move. Like it's a big move as well. We talked about rebranding earlier in the podcast, and that to me is a big rebrand in terms of like, I've done it. I don't want to do this. This isn't the channel that I want to do. I'm going to do entertainment. This isn't education over here. They're two separate beasts, and I think that's a smart move, and it's going to pay dividends without a doubt.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I was going to say, sorry, LJ. I was going to say that I think the biggest indicator of who shares your sense of humor and who doesn't was when you built your rocket ship in Minecraft. And then the people that were non-jokingly saying, no, it's not a rocket ship. What are you talking about? Like, those are the people that just like, they don't quite get it. They don't quite get what's going on.
You've got like the 20% of people who found me from Twitch specifically writing the words, what a beautiful rocket ship. Is it based on Bezos and stuff like that? And then you've got the other like 80% who have come from Stream Scheme or just like too young and they found me through Minecraft being like, I'm pretty sure that's a penis, dude. You just made a penis.
No, it's a
what's
cloud.
the joke here? It's a penis.
100-bit alert notification. Pretty sure that's a penis, man.
But like they're not making it as a joke. They're legitimately being like, I think it just looks like a cock. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How does that look like a cock? It's like clearly it's a cock.
Yeah.
But how does it look like? You know what I mean? Like, like they don't understand they don't really play along with the
nuance.
joke.
Yeah.
And this isn't me having a go at people. I appreciate anyone who enjoys my content, who watches me. But I think that my stream is quite unique because of that. And I think anyone who spends time in my stream would agree that that is something. Like even all my mods talk about this. Like all of my mods, they found me, most of my mods found me from just by popping by Twitch and being like, this is funny. Like Cheeseman found me through a raid. I think Lauren found me through Pokemon, which is hilarious. Lauren, if you're listening to this, you're a fucking loser. It was Sword and Shield. That's how you know it's bad. You found me through Sword and Shield. That was a bad Pokemon game. But anyway, essentially like that, right? And like they see the difference between when I had 80 average viewers before Stream Scheme blew up and where I have 200 now, or 200 when I had 200. And they can see like, oh, the community is very split. And that'll always be my biggest thing I have to solve is I need to bring the audience back together to be cohesive. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think that it's an interesting thing to see that you have like, I've got such a, but also it's going to be hard because I know there's the temptation of like, do I just do streamer Q&As every night? Do I just go live during the day and do streamer Q&As every day and just farm like 15, 20 subs and just like relax on the beach with a margarita? But I'm like, no, I would I need to do something, you know?
You know what you should do? You should like do a stream where you're purposely giving bad advice.
Yeah.
Like just outlandish bad advice.
Yeah.
You can't in this industry.
Oh, true.
Like I came up with that as a funny idea, and I was like, I'm gonna do Dr. LJ where I give bad advice for streamers. But then I was like, no, it'll whoosh too many people.
That's true. Yeah.
Like you just sadly you can't. Like I can't even make a sarcastic joke in a video without it whooshing. In one of my videos about DMCA, I open it by being like, DMCA, what is it? It's Twitch. Twitch is doing this to you. Twitch hates you. They're the ones doing it. They're the ones who are banning you. They're terrible, and Twitch is coming after you. And then right after I go, just kidding. Twitch has nothing to do with it. DMCA is this, and I explain all of what DMCA is, right? But then the comments are, yeah, I can't believe Twitch is doing this to us. Blah, blah, blah. Or other comments being like, actually, LJ, Twitch has nothing to do with DMCA. The people who run DMCA. And I'm like, did you watch anything further than that? And like, I watched the whole video and I'm like, then how did you miss the like 3.5 minute long explanation and the part where I say, just kidding. Yeah. Actually, it's not, or the parts where I'm sat there being like, so Twitch are disgusting because they'll ban you after giving you 3 DMCA strikes. Whereas over on YouTube, they'll ban you after getting 3 DMCA strikes. And people are like, LJ, it's actually different. You see on YouTube, they'll go, actually, LJ, that's the same thing. They'll ban you on both for 3. And I'm like, oh my god, like you cannot whoosh in this space. Yeah. You can't make a dry joke. And that's like 90% of my humor.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very peculiar because I have that as well, like in different aspects. And it's like, I don't know how you didn't notice that. And you can't call them out as well. I mean, you can call them out in terms of the comments, but at the time you're like, oh, I feel bad. Are you doing the reverse psychology on me where you're pretending that you don't know, but you actually know? And
Well, you have to assume that they're joking along as well. Yeah, right?
That's right.
Because I've been in people's streams, right? I was in someone's stream and they were talking about mechanical keyboards. And I, at the time, had this cheap, like $20 Corsair that was like, it was a good keyboard, but it wasn't it was a fake mechanical keyboard. Right. And I said, and they were like talking about it, and I was like, yeah, well, I love mechanical keyboards as well. I'm a bit passionate about mechanical keyboards. I've got the Corsair, blah, 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 which is $20 keyboard. And I put a capper on the end, and I tried really hard to make sure that I was clearly being sarcastic, right? But the streamer goes, yeah, that's not a good keyboard, dude. You should probably spend a bit more time looking into it. You're not really talking about the same stuff we are. And I was like, like I put a capper. I clearly said I like over the top. I was everything. Like the guy also knew me, who I was. And I was just like, I'm never coming back. Because if I try and defend myself, then I look like a dickhead. Yeah, and if I try and explain, I look like a dickhead. And I was just like, I'm just never, ever, ever coming back to this stream ever again.
I've had moments where
so long, LJ.
Yeah, I've had moments where like something's gone over my head because I was like, one track minded, like the ADHD took over, and I was like one track minded on something. Then I read something and I took it literally, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, you were joking. Never mind, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I do that all the time as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think it's something that happens all the time, but it's just like. It's hard. Like in tech and stuff, it feels like there are so many actuallys that it's like you just can't make sarcastic jokes at all.
No, there'll always be the people who are like, oh, he's being serious when you're not. Yeah,
but 2 years ago when I first started, I made so many of those and people thought they were hilarious.
Oh,
so I think this really comes back to the fact that I think in the last 2 years the streaming space has evolved so much and changed so much that sadly you just can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You have to like have a laugh track, like a Big Bang laugh track.
Yeah.
Keep spamming that bad boy in.
That's why I have my kick W button that I press.
Yeah. Well, boys, we have probably come to the end, I believe, of the podcast today. It's exciting times for us in terms of we're each going on a little bit of a break. The big thing for LJ is going on a honeymoon. So again, congratulations, LJ. When you listen to this podcast, please spam his Twitter with happy honeymoon, even though he'll be back from the honeymoon. But it'll be funny for me to see happy honeymoon after he has now come back.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's funny. We're doing it in reverse.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to get married. Like, also, by the way, in the state of Queensland, okay, they make you do. I want to talk about this. This is off topic. But this is good for anyone who's listening to this point. You get a fun story.
I'm ready.
In the state of Queensland, when you want to get married, you have to apply for an interview. Okay. And they bring you in and they make you fill out forms and stuff like that. And I thought it was really weird. Like, I was like, I guess maybe they just want to make sure I'm not like marrying someone for a green card or for tax fraud or something like that. No, nothing to do with that. Because they give us the forms and we have to write out all of our parents' and grandparents' names and stuff like that from our certificates and all these things and all the information. And I'm like, oh, I guess they just want to make sure that they have everyone connected properly and they know what's going on and blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's just like for witnesses or something. And then I turn the page and then in big bold letters, it says, are you blood related to the person you're marrying? And I was like, oh, that's why they're interviewing everyone.
Did you know that there's a
So of course I clicked yes because, you know.
I only do incest.
Whoosh.
There's apparently the website. I'm not sure. I don't want to get the country wrong, but I'm just going to say Iceland could be completely wrong. But because the population is so small and there is a problem of like cousins marrying cousins, they didn't realize they're related. They put their names into a database to find out how far removed the person that you're dating is from you. Because again, the population is so small. That's crazy, isn't it? That's just like
it is.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny, but essentially we had to book in that interview took 2 months for us to get, and then we had to book for another date like 3 months down. So we're not even getting married for ages. So we're doing the honeymoon in reverse.
Oh, nice.
Because it's just. But it's just like this is the only time we'd have to do it.
Yeah.
We don't want to end up COVID fucking beta sigma grind set evolving and then we get locked out of like travel and stuff. So we're just gonna do it now and it'll be fun.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Hey, I have a question though. When are us three gonna go on our honeymoon?
Yeah,
It's PAX, remember?
Yeah,
that's-
orgy and then honeymoon. We do that orgy honeymoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure it's all good. But also by the time you hear this as well, Nick will be back from his amazing time in Melbourne for the Xbox/Bethesda press conference. Isn't that right, Nick? Excited?
Yes, I'm very excited. It's going to be wild. The sleep schedule is going to be ruined. It's going to be fantastic. Going to be up all night. It's going to be great.
Better be.
Oh yeah.
God
Well,
damn.
we rock up at 2 a.m. No
Yeah.
bags are allowed. Like you can't bring in it or film or anything like that.
Right.
But then we watch the showcase and they provide us lovely breakfast and we can meet and greet and
A
talk.
brekkie. A
Yeah.
mimosa? Give a mimosa
amazing.
in there for me.
Well, hopefully. Well, it's at Fortress, so it should be
it's a
good. They
portrait.
should
Yeah,
have-
they'll have that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Get
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. What the hell?
Good time. I'm
and
ready.
by the time you hear this, I'll be back. So yeah, thank you again, everybody. We are dropping frames, but boys, last comments before we hit the end record button.
For the next 4 episodes we record when I'm back from the honeymoon, all I'm going to do is try and derail us as much as possible off streaming advice.
Perfect. My last comment, you have a laugh track for your stream.
Yep. Have a
it.
laugh track.
Get a laugh track.
And my last comment is talk to yourself. There we go. Good stuff. All right.
Not on stream, in the mirror by yourself.
Not even about streaming. Just talk to yourself at all times.
Damn, you're sexy. Damn, you're beautiful. Oh,
And then-
my name's Reapz, and this is how I talk.
Me just naked in front of the things like, God, you're good. But
You fuck me, John.
TOS is hell.
Anyway, this is a weird way to go off for the next 3 weeks and not see each other, boys. But have a lovely one to you listening at home. Thank you so much for all that you do. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. Really helps us. We're doing so well on YouTube, and the more subscribers we can get, the better. So thank you so much. But from us, we say adios, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen, adieu. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wiggles outro.